folks, so our streamer crashed. I'm going to take up streaming responsibilities. My name is Joshua Feckes Quest here by myself right now because Rapid was the one streaming. He'll be back in just a moment, I believe. I did see I'm only saying this because the stream went down. I'm actually still on Skype with him. It hasn't been dropped yet. I'm sure it's going to be dropped pretty soon. We'll see what happens here. But we do have decently normal starts of Foreman and the bot lanes of both sides of the map, I should say. Yeah, there's the Skype going down. It looks like we are going to have some double jungles coming out here. Let me fix my Skype so it's not blaring over the stream here. There we go. Alright, so we do have some double jungles, and that will accelerate the jungler's jungle speed. Also try to get the top laners ahead just a little bit. Help their junglers gank a little bit earlier, and with both top laners having teleport, it's so easy to do these days. You can double jungle, like I said, help your jungler get a faster clear time, get to ganking a little bit faster, have more pressure on the map, and see if they can rotate around with their mid laner or even their bot lane and try to fast rush a turret. See that quite often. We'll see if we see it here. We're definitely going to see both top laners go back, spend some money, and teleport to the top lane. Pretty standard lately. Nothing too surprising there. So it is worth noting that there's 2 teleports on the side of Florida International, while on hold on one second. Yeah. Sorry about that. So there's 2 teleports on the side of Florida International. There's only 1 teleport on the side of Kansas State. New Flame, who I've seen been getting a lot of hype in the chat. New Flame decided to take the Ignite, go a little bit old school, pre-Worlds meta, and just go for the straight assassination and kill whoever they possibly can. We'll see how it pans out, because these two teleport metas, it's been game changing. But we have a catch in the top side of the river. Sorcerer, he has to flash out of there. There's a flash coming out from Pyros. One more auto attack would do it. It's going to come out first blood going over to Pyros. Excuse me if I'm not pronouncing that one right. Pyros. I believe that is the way you pronounce it. But he actually refreshes his buffs with that kill, so that's a very huge start for his jungle. Meanwhile, Outrage, he's going to have to be careful. His ring got parlayed, so he's going to pretty weak going up in there. He doesn't have a teleport. He's going to lose out quite a bit. And that's what I was talking about in Champions. Like, when you're a Fiora and you can get that aggressive play off and make it work, you're going to snowball pretty hard. Pyrus, he's in the top lane, doesn't get his fear off in the right distance, and now Malimo Sorcerer, he's there. Pyros almost dead, maybe giving up his double buffs if he treads a little bit too close here. New Flame making his way to the top lane. There's a flash, there's a kill. New Flame with the double buffs. Charm lands on his Secretic, and Ignite going down as well. Double kill for New Flame. Hype in the chat paying off. Now back in the bot lane. Camera likes to show us down here. Not really too much. A lot of action going on in the top lane though. Very nice response by Kansas State University. And helping shut down Secretic a little bit. Did not pick up the first blood, of course. Got the assist. It's not a huge difference because Outrage actually did not die. He got 2 assists out of that, and he's staying even in gold. So it's not a snowball yet for the Fiora in the top lane. I don't know why the camera is like so fascinated with the bot lane, by the way. It's just farming, but I guess that's more than any other lane's doing right now because Outrage is actually back in his base, so he's not really doing too much in the top lane. Malimo Sorcerer taking up his jungle route, trying to recover from that first blood that he did give, and that is one disadvantage right now. He is at a huge disadvantage. He's going to be a little bit slower on the ganks, a little bit slower in the jungle because he lost his double buffs. That was pretty huge. Pyrus, he did die, but he at least got first blood out of that, so he got the experience. A little bit of damage going on to Ionic. I see what they did there. Very nice. We'll play with the O. Ionic. I'm going to assume that's how he really wanted it, because I'm sure Ionic isn't really available for a summoner name. Alright, so this is the thing. You're staying even against a Fiora. That means you're not feeding her, and that's always a good thing, but that also means you're not out classing her. Now Chain Vest picked up by Outrage 24, but there's so much damage coming out from Secretic's Fiora. He just hit level 6. He's going to have a little bit of advantage in that, as Outrage is still level 5. So we'll see if he can take advantage of that one. There's not really much of a turret dive you can do anymore. You do get the heal on the end of your ult from Fiora. But it's not like you can, lose turret aggro now with your ultimate. Oh, Kairos, there's a flash, there's a pulverize. Ionic, he's going to get in there. He doesn't have a flash, but now New Flame is in the bot lane. There's a teleport from Secretic and Outrage 24. New Flame caught in a bad position. Kairos picking up that kill. Pakshi on the back foot now. Here's another teleport. This is the advantage of the double teleport. But it might be too little too late. Big Gnar ultimate from Outrage 24. Pakshi trying to get as much damage as possible out, but Outrage actually losing the fight here, and that is the big advantage of the double teleport. Florida International University, they were able to take advantage of that and pick up a 1 for 2 in their favor, and actually swing the gold. Only about 600 in their way, but it's not a huge amount. But they did get the momentum shifting into their favor. As a New Flame, he did get the double kill earlier, but he didn't get anything that time. I actually think he did get an assist there, but 2 assists going over to Special Name to help him kind of alleviate that gold gap that was created from that double kill. He's only 300 down right now. That's not too much. That's barely an item. That is actually boots, but I don't think that's going to make or break him in that middle lane at the moment. He is leading in CS by 11. Going to try to continue that. Blue buff going over to New Flame. See what he can do with that one, spamming the Orb of Deception to try to shove the wave a little bit more so he can pay off on these roams just that much more. A little bit of pressure might be coming in the way of mid lane. Malimo Sorcerer hanging out there. Very easy to go gap close when you're an Echo. Charm missing. There's the Spirit Rush. Now Paranoia coming out from Pyrus. He's gonna get the fear. No, he's actually not gonna instill the fear into Malimo. He's still gonna back away. So ultimate use, nice pulverize coming out from Ionic. Seeing that boy Tommy had to roam mid. Actually, he didn't have to roam mid. He decided to roam mid anyways, try to enhance that gank a little bit more. But that did leave Kairos. I'm assuming that's how you spell his name, pronounce his name. If anybody knows better, feel free to tell me in chat. But Kairos left him in the bot lane by himself, and that's usually when you want to take advantage of that isolation from him. So flash used by Ionic. Sorry about that. Anyways, meanwhile in the top lane, Outrage 24 still dueling Secretic. It's not doing too bad so far, but there is a gank in the top lane. Malimo is there. He needs to be careful. He's not very high in the health bar right now. Flash being used by Pyrus. He's just going to get out of there, walk away, say, I'll fight you another day. Make a Death Rocket, making its way to the top lane. It's just going to whip everything. Was looking for Malimo Sorcerer. Not going to find its mark this time. I do not believe Kairos' name is Chaox. No offense to Chaox. There are plenty of other ADCs you could have chosen, but I guess his name sounds closest to Chaox. Special name getting blocked off by New Flame here. There's Spirit Rush. Charm lands. Orb of Deception does not land on the back foot, though. There is Shockwave, but the Ignite is going to take down New Flame. Going to take down Special Name, I should say. New Flame picking up that kill. Despite the Orb of Deception not hitting the true damage mark onto Special Name. So it's just, the damage just isn't there for Special Name yet. He actually went for the, going for the Entheans and Holy Grail to try to block some of the damage from New Flame's little power spike that he had from earlier. He doesn't have to worry about too much for use of the Morellonomicon. There's just not really an exorbitant amount of lifesteal going to be coming out from, or even spell vamp coming out from the side of Kansas State University. Now you do have New Flame on the on his the Ahri passive. Actually, I forget what it's called honestly, but the Ahri passive, it does give you The heal. Paranoia coming out. I'll talk about that later. Pakshi getting jumped on immediately. He's going to get feared. Heal back into his turret. Nice headbutt from Ionic onto Pyrus. It's going to live, though. Pakshi going down, not able to get that Super Mega Death Rocket off. And that is a kill for Kairos. He got the reset. He jumped up, and now New Flame is there. Glacial Fissure isn't going to be able to stop him. There's the exhaust as well. Pyrus and Special Name are down in the bot lane, but Milimo Sorcerer there as well, too. Kind of an oxymoron, not an oxymoron, but kind of a repetitive double there. But doesn't matter. Kill going over to Florida International University. Pakshi the only one falling there. Did go over to Kairos in the end. So he's 2-0-1 right now. Secretic rotating, or migrating, I should say, to the mid lane, matching Outrage 24. Going Meganar, jumping in onto Secretic, but not going to find anything with it as a Special Name decided to show itself in the mid lane. Give a shield over to his partner, to his friend, Secretic. Chaos. Thank you. Just want to clarify that Tristana's name's Chaos. So a little bit of a standstill right now. There's a pink ward on the dragon from Kansas State University. But nothing really coming of it right now. No one's grouping for a dragon, not even trying to contest it right now. They're just going to go back to the respective lanes and farm out as much as possible right now. Being sort of chaotic for the first 13 minutes of the game. Especially these double teleports coming into play, which both teleports are up, so Secretic and Special Name. They don't have to be the dragon to make a play. They can always teleport in, make the play whenever it needs to be made. Outrage 24, he's trying his best. He's doing a great job of not giving in to Secretic's Fiora pick. Not giving her a kill, not giving her a huge CS advantage. Keeping her at bay and following her during every teleport and every roam. It's been very nicely played by Outrage 24. Fiora is such a huge pick right now in the meta of Worlds in the top lane. You kind of almost get intimidated just by seeing her in being picked. But it wasn't banned out for a reason. Perhaps Kansas State University had something prepared for it. So let me see here. Should be getting my co-caster calling pretty soon. Oh, and as far as the Alistar, I'm just going to say Ionic. I don't know if that's proper, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, Outrage 24 dueling back onto Secretic, and that's another thing that he's doing a great job of, is he's not giving these trades up for nothing. Whenever Secretic goes in for a trade onto Outrage, Outrage is trading back almost as much, so it's making them both think about going in. Nice Q onto Secretic as the Meganar throwing that big brick right in her face. So still kind of a lull point. Special Name getting the blue buff given over. Shoutcaster Rapid, and this is for the person in chat. Shoutcaster Rapid will be back in just a moment. It's restarting his computer. Had some technical issues, but we'll get them cleared up, no problem. And Secretic, actually, there's Paranoia coming out from Pyrus in the top lane. Secretic not in a position. Outrage jumped away. It's almost Meganar has to flash out. He's going to stay alive, though. Wasn't Meganar in time. And now, Milimo Sorcerer is in the top lane. May want to take advantage of something happening here. Because Secretic is he's actually a little bit over half health now. So, it's going to be hard. He does have that Tiamat to get to push the wave a little bit faster and just go back. And Outrage uses Teleport to go to the top lane. So, Secretic is going to have to match that teleport to keep the wave shoved up and keep the farm game in his favor. Or save that teleport and try to use it to a roam or a bot lane, maybe secure the dragon or a tower in a gank. Alright, I'm going to make a very important phone call here. Skype call, I should say. We don't really use phones in esports. We're going to make a very important Skype call to my co-caster, Rapid. Let's see if he's able to pick up. Rapid, are you there, buddy?
I am 150%.
Alright, so here we go. We're 16 minutes into the game. You in game already?
I am, and I've got up to speed, and all I'm trying to say is this Chinese foreign exchange student Ari is on fire, quite literally.
Yeah, 3-1-1, got a double kill earlier in the game, and we have a engage from top lane here. Secretic going down, getting Nard into the wall. Nice pickup by Outrage. He's actually outplayed and outdamaged Fiora. He's starting to outscale her, denied the snowball, and just built armor and health, and actually doing very well as a Gnar on Outrages on as a Gnar onto or into the Fiora, I should say.
Yeah, I was gonna say after all of those boomerangs he threw at her that last time, it's definitely into. I'm still questioning how Gnar's boomerang both hits you and still comes back to you. Like, I want one of those boomerangs so that then I can throw it and it'll actually come back to me. Have you ever thrown a boomerang, Fekkas?
No, I never have, but I do want to. Go on some nerd knowledge here. There is a supervillain of the Flash called the Boomerang, and I think he can do that. Though the boomerang usually sticks into you and kills you, but I think he can still do that tactic if he wants to.
Yeah, I feel like that's what should happen with Gnar boomerangs. Like, you throw them at someone, it sticks in them, and they're like, ow, I have a boomerang in me. Like, that just doesn't feel very good.
He throws a brick at your face, or it's not even a brick. He throws a piece of building at your face or a piece of rock. So, I mean, he throws something at you and it sticks into your face. It's working out so far for Outrage 24s. He's 2 kills up right now, or 2 kills, 0 deaths, 1 kill up on Secretic.
So he's thinking about returning up to lane to catch that wave. It's actually about a wave and a half of minions there, and after shoving out mid lane, New Flame really needs to look to make some action happen elsewhere. Currently, Special Name is sitting perfectly still for me, so I'm not really sure what kind of itemization. There we go, Blasting Wand was the item.
Yeah, it's waiting out a little bit there. He actually had to wait for that gold. He only had 20 gold whenever he bought that, so he waited out just enough time. And I only say 20 gold whenever he bought that. It's whenever I hit the X button and switch over to the gold. Right. So he was just waiting in the base for that extra gold to get that. But Charm landed on Secretic.
My gosh, perfect snare. Perfect Charm to land and then turn it back around with a riposte. Ooh. Able to land that hard CC onto New Flame and really punish him there. Great play there by Secretic. Unfortunately, he's going to lose a lot top lane as his turret's gone. Gnar has been basically kind of free farming up there. He's caught up in CS after being down about 15 to 20 earlier. And so everything feels good with the exception of New Flame, who kind of got a little bit outplayed there by getting stunned by riposte.
Yeah, very nice timed on the riposte too. We've been seeing that coming up huge for the Fiora. That's one of her biggest factors. So she can block CC so good. And we see the example of that right there. Even turret is going to be siege, but that's actually a Trailblazer coming out from Pyrus, so he's going to just completely clear that wave and deny them that turret a little bit longer. So
yeah, Trailblazer's actually really good for a few reasons. For Nocturne, it's Trailblazer into Warrior enchant. So that means that you want Warrior if you're going to fight. It makes sense. It's a very well named item.
Yes.
But if you're jungling a lot, then you can't really fight that much because you're fighting neutral monsters. So you go Ranger's Trailblazer to clear the jungle extremely quickly, and then you are able to gank more. So that's his thought process there. Also has stacked up a ton of magic resistance, as most junglers do. He is the one buying the Aegis of the Legion here, so he is maybe a little bit on the backseat as far as building offensive items, but that is going to help his team when he dives in. It's always been a very good item on Nocturne because he's getting in there, getting up close and personal.
Yeah, and that's definitely in a response to New Flame, doing very well in this game, as we pointed out when you came in, 3-1-1, literally on fire at the moment, and it's also not for him. Because Malimo Sorcerer also does magic damage. So, I mean, it's a good pickup, especially, like I said, against New Flame, who's going to be diving in and out, trying to do as much damage as possible, and even assassinate one of the backlines of Karos.
Also, can't be underestimated. Outrage 24, the hyper procs from Gnar also deal magic damage, and that is actually a pretty large part of his damage, just proccing that over and over again, especially if he's kiting you out. So I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, you're not gonna. I don't know. You're gonna die to 80 carry damage, and especially diving turrets. Also, not gonna make you very tanky against that with no armor picked up. So we'll definitely have to see this roam from Ari down around, and I thought I was just gonna take the scenic route to bottom lane, but you can see immediate pings from FIU to say, hey, gotta watch out. Might want to back away from the bottom lane.
Yeah, and fun thing of speaking of the bottom lane, there's a big meta that's, let's focus the bot lane. Hey guys, let's get two of our friends, three of our friends, and just go bot lane and kill everybody. Hasn't happened so much this game. It was attempted once, didn't work out. Dragon hasn't even been contested. It's 21 minutes in, no team has even cared about Dragon. Secretic, he's gonna go in, not get much. He was even waiting in the bush. He's gonna go back in. You have to wonder how much damage he's really gonna do here. Which, now you don't have to wonder.
Oh man, that's going to be a lot of damage. Flash forced out immediately over the wall, and Secretic's not going to counter flash that. He's going to save his own flash, force out Nars. So probably could have had a kill there, but didn't want to get outplayed by the hop away, knowing that Gnar had maybe a little bit more mobility. There we go.
No problem. Yeah, we have a little bit of focus in on this mid lane right now, but Molimo Sorcerer gonna back up, and yeah, I was starting to wonder how much damage Secretic would really do. Outrage is pretty tanky right now. He's got his chain vest, he's got a Giant's belt. I figured he had a little bit more to withstand on the Secretic offense, but not happening. Secretic very quick with the damage, and not much answered back with that by Outrage. Though he does have a Black Cleaver now, but nobody on this other side is building armor. So you have to wonder. Black Cleaver, is that really necessary right now? I don't think so. At the moment.
I was thinking the same thing there. One interesting thing to think about, okay, we've got a possible invade. Nice seal there, but for one thing to think about as this game keeps drawing on is that sooner or later you're going to have 80 carries come into the action. And really, aside from those early 2 kills, not a whole lot has gone on bottom lane. They've just been pushing waves into each other for the last 10 minutes or so. But now that we're going to have Dragon come up, this is where we finally get to see these big 5v5s. And speaking of 5v5s, we do need to see Secretic get a teleport into this pit if they do want to fight. It's not looking likely. It might just be giving this Dragon up from being not in position.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to stick with that top lane with the Ravenous Hydra, push the wave as much as possible. There's a teleport on Outrage 24, and nobody on Florida International is really going to contest it, so didn't want to use a teleport to go in there. Paranoia was up as well, and they decided not to go in on that one. So first Dragon of the game going over to Kansas State University. Not too important, but for a late Dragon like that, it's highly doubtful that the teams are going to get to 5 dragons at that point in the game. If you get the first dragon at about 24 minutes, that's quite a late 5th dragon by that team.
A couple of interesting we're going to see mid lane Secretic dashing in. Didn't get the riposte off that time. But, oh, wow, continues to go back in. There's the riposte just for some damage. But either way, a couple of big items to talk about now that we're starting to see a little bit more roam action, Secretic coming down. Bottom lane, we've got Zeki's Harbinger completed there on Dat Boy Tommy, which is actually pretty huge because with Tristana, always known as a late game hyper carry, but now can actually maybe hyper carry a little bit more. You can see the Brawler's Gloves bought instead of some extra attack speed because she knows, hey, with that extra crit chance and the extra crit chance from Zeki's Harbinger, that's going to be a lot of crits coming out, and okay, activates it there.
You can't use them on the champion if you waste them on minions.
Yeah, now that item doesn't matter anymore.
No, not at all.
Forget everything I said.
Well, I mean, in theory, that is what is supposed to happen whenever, you get the Harbinger early on. Contention in the mid lane here. Charm missing. Secretic, he's just going to back off here. Barely missing the Charm. A lot of damage going on to the mid lane turret, but it's not enough. And that's actually Spirit Rush used by New Flame as well, so that is going to be down for any impending team fight in the mid lane. Looks like Florida International is going to back off, get their jungle, get their buffs, and back to the top lane for Secretic. Going to go farm again.
I was thinking, Fekez, how am I going to predict this game here tonight? It's Florida International University versus Kansas State.
Right.
And then I realized that both of these teams actually have football teams as well. And
Yeah.
Kansas State just lost to my hometown Longhorns 9-23. But on the other side, the FIU actually beat their opponents 41-12. So theoretically, you should look at this matchup and be like, whoa, Florida International, they're going to be coming out on top. We'll see if they can do it in this fight. That boy Tommy immediately taken down. The shockwave in the back, perfectly placed there. New Flame having to kite backwards. And look at Secretic, perfect flank in behind. He's going to cut off the entire back line. Gets that Fiora ultimate. There's the waltzing that he knows how to do. Dancing all over this team fight. So much damage. He's going to be chasing everyone out, but may not be able to deal quite enough damage. Getting kited around there is the ultimate away there. Malimo Sorcerer may not be in a great spot. This is the Secretic show. Fiora on top of everything, wanting to try to come back in there. Might give Tristana a reset, but Molimo Sorcerer I think is okay. Oh man, going deep, does not want to get hit by that parallel convergence, and there's the ace, Secretic. Beautifully played team fight.
Yeah, and I was talking about how they haven't really gotten Secretic to snowball, but looks like you don't really need to. Just in one team fight where he's not focused, he can dance around, blade waltz around, get that stun, also the heal from his ultimate. Well, there was a Super Mega Death Rocket taking out Special Name. That was from out of nowhere, but very nicely played by Secretic, dancing around, getting 3 kills in that, maybe 3 or 4 kills in that team fight. Kairos also picking up a kill for himself. Very nicely played by Secretic. They were able to get the. Did they get the bot lane turret? Yeah, they did get the bot lane turret. I saw a red mark there. I was like, that's not a turret. That is a skull, because Special Name died there.
Rest in pieces. Unfortunately, a Special Name, a lot of hype, at least for me. I was very interested to see how he was going to do. He has solid mechanics. You can see he's up 10 CS, even with all that roaming. He's doing, theoretically, better, kill for kill versus Orianna, but, or Special Name is, or not Special Name, New Flame. Special Name, New Flame. Getting them a little bit mixed up here, but
they sound
New
the same.
Flame's doing very well. Special Name, on the other hand, definitely playing that more support Orianna. Looks like he's going to be going for a Rylai's. Got the Giant's Belt.
Yeah.
The only other thing I could think about would be something along the lines of like a, I don't know, Randuin's Omen. You want that auto attack from Frozen Mallet for extra slow? I don't know, but yeah, probably going to be Rylai's. And I haven't seen this build often for Orianna's. It is a needlessly large rod item, so it does still give you that large amount of ability power. But the extra slow comes at a cost that could be put into something like a Void Staff.
Yeah, very much so, and especially, I mean, with the enemy team not really building too much in the way of magic resistance, they don't. I mean, yeah. I don't really agree with the Rylai's either. Void Staff, yeah, even if they're not building magic resistance, Void Staff would still be better here, because the only thing you're really going to proc your slow with is your shield if you hit anybody with it, which is very unlikely, or your command attack. Because your Dissonance already does a slow, and your Shockwave, I mean, it does AoE CC, going to bring everyone closer to it, so you're not really going to be able to see the slow from the Rylai's as much from that. Not really agreeing with it. Does give him tanky stats though, and he's not really having too much trouble dying. So yeah, the Giant's Belt, not really seeing it, but with that being said, it will give him tanky stats to help him survive a little bit more in these team fights and maybe prevent a death whenever that could be a game changer.
Back to the mid lane, that's where everybody's grouping up. Secretic, I don't think this is a very good spot for him to be in. Fiora kind of suffers, new riposte helps, but Fiora kind of suffers from not a lot of creativity. It's like, okay, well, what's going to happen? Fiora is going to dash into a team fight. Everybody knows that. But what was so good about that last fight is the Secretic had a perfect flank. No one even knew Secretic was bottom lane. Comes right around the corner and manages to clean up that fight devastatingly well. Now, that boy Tommy gonna give Jinx a reset, kiting backwards with all that get excited power. Backwards into the back lines. Pyra is actually the one to take her out. And Secretic's still going strong, but now she's gonna actually go down to the Gnar auto attack. Kara is not in a great spot either. There's the Alistar combo. New Flame set up perfectly for that. Ionic knows he did all the work, so he's just going to take the kill. And even now in the back line, Outrage with the ace. And what a turnaround. We saw one fight dominantly won there by Florida. And then Kansas just said, look, we can win team fights too. And crushes them down with an ace.
Yeah, now while Florida won the first team fight with a nice flank from Secretic, there was another flank this time around that did not work out in their favor. They were split up between the dragon on both sides, And I mean, yeah, it was Outrage just jumped into the middle of the four on top and just shoved them into a wall. It was very nicely played by Kansas State. They took advantage of the flank this time, broke them down, and just kind of eliminated one by one. Now they're going to get their second dragon of the game, and try to shove up from there. Let's see what they do after that. More likely go back and buy. Actually, 1,400 in the pocket of New Flame right now. So New Flame go back and almost has enough for his Rabadon's Death Cap, which it looks like he is building toward with that new Slaughter Rod and his Blasting Wand.
Yeah, New Flame is right on point for all of his itemization as far as, this timing in the game. Mid lane, look at that red buffed Gnar continuing to dish out all this damage on a Dat Boy Tommy. Super Mega Death Rocket catches him at long range. That's that alley-oop, and they're not even playing basketball.
No, they're not. There's actually no Darius on this map either, so no reference to basketball. Flash! He was trying to go for a Flash Gnar ultimate, I believe,
but he transformed into Mini
Gnar. Yes, and now there's a Paranoia.
Okay, well, Pyrrhus going in and going right back out. Oh. There's the Shockwave that Special Name didn't get off in the last fight. But he's still in there putting down a lot of damage, but no team to follow up on that.
Yeah, nothing yet. And yeah, there's Paranoia down, and actually Dat Boy Tommy is still dead here. New Flame trying to go in, not gonna work out, but that might shove them back and allow.
New Flame playing so aggressively, he's actually going to Summoner Heal to stay alive?
Yeah.
Is it enough? Yes, he will stay alive, but look at the teleport out of top lane just to save his name. Fiora coming in at very low HP.
Got stuck on the Flame Chompers, though, so wasn't able to take too big of advantage of it.
Dat Boy Tommy still wants this fight to happen. There's the damage. Will take out Alistar. Now Pakshi in the back line just barely alive for not very much longer. And a double kill there for Tristana. Chaos cashing in. Molemo very low off to the side, but he's not as important as this Baron buff that's being started out by Florida.
No, not at all. And with 3 members down from Kansas State University, they're going to take Limo is there, not going to be able to catch it in time. Clean Baron buff, well, as far as that was concerned, without the death earlier. Going over to Florida International, and they are taking control of this game. They're only 1k up, but they have a little bit more power. They still are down in turrets as well, but with the Baron buff, I think that's about to change. Mid tower is up, the outer mid tower, I should say, is up for them to take, and it doesn't have too much health left, if I recall. With these empowered minions, you're going to have trouble clearing them on the side of Kansas State University with just Orbit Deception.
Yeah, 15,000 or 1,500 gold. There we go, 1,500. The only difference between these teams as far as the gold count's concerned, but what may matter a little bit more is where that gold is located. We got 5 kills on both top laners. Let's see how this matchup works out. We're about to have a Mega Gnar. Fiora, I don't think that's going to work out super well. So wisely backing away there, even with Baron buff minions. Outrage doing a good job at holding his own. This is where, sometimes if you have a top laner that's relatively far behind, you can just have him sit in lane, not really contribute a whole lot, but man, take a look at mid lane, middle turret going down. We might see even more. Now with Mini Gnar procced up again, maybe we'll have, the rotation down from Fiora out of that top lane now that she's pushed it in. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Fiora leaves top, comes down to mid lane, or at least makes her way down there, taking red buff on the way, which is going to be really big on her. But rejoining the rest of the team because they know they're going to have this big team fight.
Yeah, this is going to be huge. If they can win this team fight or even just shove back Kansas State University with KOs there, they have an insane amount of turret push right now with this empowered super minions and the explosive shot. And they don't even need the explosive shot for that one. They're just going to take it. And meanwhile, in the top lane, Socratic, he's going to dual outrage. Here comes Paranoia.
Oh man, but coming in, there's a double Gnar backwards, the double stun as well, but it doesn't stop. A Grand Waltz, a heal, and a keel there. I was doing my best accent, didn't work out.
It's hard.
For Fiora.
It was nicely played. Yeah, very nice. And they're taking advantage of this Baron buff quite a bit here. And this is what I like seeing. Whenever a team gets a Baron buff, take advantage of it. Don't just waste it. And this is Tristana, like I said, doing what she does best. All you need is an explosive shot and maybe 3 or 4 shots to get a huge amount of damage on that turret. And you don't even have to take it. You can just wait for the next wave of empowered minions and do that once again. slow burn on a turret, but it works so well. And even these little shots on the enemy champion, shoving them back, that's just going to be more pressure relieved for them to try to take this turret.
New Flame coming in, but gets pulled back in with Shockwave. Doesn't have a Zanya, so he's just going to explode. And now Ionic, even with that ultimate on, may still die. There's a double jump. There's a triple jump. Chaos not stopping. Here we go. The Grand Waltz again for a triple kill. He's going further.
Oh, a little too close.
He hits the fountain and the true damage. It's gonna take him out. Shut down there by Outrage. Super Mega Death Rocket though coming in. There's a big Gnar backwards. Patchy gonna get out the kill. Zap coming out for another one. We got 80 carries resetting all over the place. As now it's actually Kansas that's pushing Florida State International away, or Florida International University there, away from the base. Now Outrage in a mini Gnar form hits that slow. This is gonna be one very sad Braum.
Yeah, that's a very slow death when you have the wall up as well. But one thing to point out, they did not get the Nexus turret. They brought it down to about 5 or 10 HP, so it's only going to be a matter of time before Super Minions get in there. One touch on that top turret, the top Nexus turret, will be able to take it down. But right now, it's still up, and that is going to be a priority, or at least should be, for Kansas State University to keep that Nexus turret alive, because they do regen. They regen slowly, but they do regen. And if you can keep them out of your base for long enough, it'll regen to full health. And the longer this game goes, the more even it eventually will become. Pakshi, he's on Jinx. He has the pushing power, as any late game Jinx does. You just need to get to that point. But right now, it is not heavily in favor of Florida International, but they are 4K ahead as opposed to the 1K or from earlier. And the third dragon for them is up right now. We'll see if Florida International can contest this one. Outrage 24's teleport is up. Pyrus is around. He's walking over a ward, though.
Oh, man, there's a charm. Immediately chunks down Pyrus to half HP. Alistar knocking back away, but here comes in the Mega Gnar. Outrage does have that ultimate available, but Shockwave in the backline. Counter Gnar will stop the enemy team, and now, oh man, Kansas, can they stay alive? Not long enough. Actually kiting backwards to the back as a double kill in his name. New Flame going forward will catch out Dat Boy Tommy. Gonna land that charm, and once again gonna take out another kill. It's his 5th one of the game. The Zap will force another flash away from, and immediately Outrage starts recalling, knowing that he has to defend the base, and here is a big opportunity for Kansas to keep pushing to maybe even take a base turret, if not an inhibitor.
Yeah, that was Secretic. He tried getting into the back lines, but there was just too much pressure onto him because Outrage 24's Mega Gnar, it didn't do so well. He did get the Mega Gnar ultimate off in the back lines, but it was just barely there, and he actually went into Mini Gnar as he was doing that. But that is an inhibitor going down. Very nicely played. Nice response, I should say, from Kansas State University, taking advantage of Secretic, way out of position from his team, not able to follow up any damage that he was creating. So they're going to take that mid lane inhibitor to go back, defend the base, and spend their spoils of war. 3,400 in the pocket of Pakshi right now. Going to come back with a huge item. Already has 4 huge items. Going to be selling the Doran's Blade. Let's see what he decides to get for this 5th, actually his 6th item.
I'd say Guardian Angel there coming out. So 8 and 4, great scores for both of these 80 carries, really. The big difference between both teams has to be their mid laners. You cannot overstate how crucial it was for New Flame to land that initial charm on Pyrrhus, who, by the way, should be okay against that. He's got tenacity from his Mercury Treads. He also has his own personal spell shield and a lot of magic resistance, but because New Flame was so far ahead, the charm, the follow-up damage did so much, chunked Pyrrhus down, and then one catch after another as Florida International just attempted to leave the fight, weren't able to make it. Now might have Baron be a big deal. 30 seconds left, and KSU are already starting to set up for it.
Yeah, FIU still in the lead by gold, but it's just one team fight can make the entire difference in the momentum of this game. And that one team fight could still happen once again. So we'll see who the Baron goes to. There's definitely going to be a dance. Let's see who stumbles. Let's see who leads, takes advantage of that stumbling, and stomps on your partner because you're in a vindictive relationship.
All I'm trying to say is that as far as school names go, for Kansas State University, that's like the last name I would want, because it basically is like anytime I play support, that's all I do. It's like I just KSU over and over again. And thankfully, this time around, that's actually not been the case for Alistar. Ionic, he's been going in, making these plays, but he's only picked up 1 kill for himself. So definitely not living up to his school name, but doing a good job on support.
Yeah, doing a fantastic job. It has been knocking away some potential kills, but you could say they're either knocking them away or just keeping your allies safe. You could go either way with that one. Sometimes it really is he's knocking away kills, but regardless, his team still has the advantage. He's part of that team. He's helped create these plays. Has the Zeke's Harbinger, which I will continue to call it Zeke's, and gonna be giving those crits over to Pakshi, which he can do AoE crits with his rockets, which could be a little bit more of a game changer than Kairos. But Baron started and immediately disengaged by Florida International. All right.
Right, they realized they didn't have. Okay, so what's confusing? They have 2 sweeping lenses, and they didn't use either one of them to try to clear out that. Wow, 450 damage crit. Wow, New Flame gonna be ulted back in on, needs to continue to ult backwards. All 3 charges of Spirit Rush to use defensively, but look at KO's ulting out backwards. Super Mega Death Rocket. Where's it gonna go? Actually, completely ineffective. No kills picked up there. Both teams run at each other and then back away, somewhat comically, but now Baron's still a big issue. Looks like Florida International might be slightly closer.
Yeah, I feel so. A New Flame doesn't have the Spirit Rush anymore, doesn't have Flash either, and that's your big ticket as an Ori, to have that Spirit Rusher, to have a Flash Charm. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for Kansas State University to try to secure this Baron without New Flame having everything in his arsenal to make a pick. Melimo Sorcerer and, of course, Outrage 24, they both have their ultimates up. Let's see what happens here, because on the other side, you have Secretic and Special Name. Shockwaves, these Shockwaves have been pretty good. There just hasn't been enough damage to follow them up to really take advantage. They're gonna try to change that around here in these this Baron dance. But it looks like both teams are being so wary that they're kind of playing it too cautious. Going to be backing off entirely from the Baron.
Right, Kansas State actually had completely cleared everything around that Baron area, so they were safe to stick around there, but their side lane management just not on point. You see New Flame actually has to walk all the way down to bottom. He should have just let Nar do that, because now there's 2 champions for Kansas that just aren't around the Baron area. Now, Secretic not actually taking all that much damage at all, but here comes in Outrage. Is going to have no Mega Nar for this fight. Gets stunned up from the concussive blows and taken out before this fight even starts. Charm lands onto Secretic, Super Mega Death Rocket, unable to find that kill on the Dad Boy Tummy. Nice riposte to keep Fiora alive. Fiora's going in and staying alive. Shockwave right on top of everyone. Ionic gonna fall here. Melimo Sorcerer ulting back in to try to find more kills here, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to. Pakshi very, very low with the flashback over. Kaor's flashes in, gets the kill, bounces away with a rocket jump, and there is the clairvoyance being used. Kaor's not able to jump back into there. I've never seen an AD carry just flash in. Okay, nice riposte there. Jumping back in, gets that Grand Duel, Grand Waltz underneath the turret. Blade Waltz, Grand Duel. I'm mixing up the Fiora ultimates from past and present, but seems to be a little bit deep into the base there by Florida International, but really well-fought fight.
And that's exactly where that Shockwave comes into play. That Shockwave was up because they needed it up for that team fight, and they were able to get a huge, huge Shockwave, follow it up this time with damage. And you can see what's happening right now. Florida International University got the top lane inhibitor taken down once again, and now migrated to the bot lane, able to take out that bot lane inhibitor and the bot lane inhibitor turret and the bot lane inhibitor. So that's going to be an enormous amount of pressure on Kansas State University, and possibly allow Florida International to take this Baron uncontested this time around, while Kansas State deals with the super minion waves.
Yeah. I talked earlier about side lane control, and that was actually what allowed that bottom inhibitor to be taken by Florida International. That huge way that they had pushing in, it wasn't reacted to in time, allowed them to have the opportunity to take top inhibitor, take bottom, and now maybe even to take this Baron Nashor. Just barely snatched away before that Super Mega Death Rocket came in. He's had some good rockets this game, but he hasn't really been all that impactful in these last few fights, whereas on the other side, Kaor has been bouncing everywhere, rocket jumps on all over everything, 11, 2, and 5. You can definitely tell who the carry is there for Florida International.
Yeah, Pakshi hasn't been having a bad game, but yeah, the difference definitely is he hasn't been having a great game like Kaor's. And with that Mercurial Scimitar now picked up as well. Scimitar, it's a Scimitar, it's Mercurial Scimitar.
It's Scimitar.
Yeah, he's going to be a little bit harder to lock down as well. So, very huge advantage for him. And you called it Clairvoyance earlier. We're not in Season 2 anymore. It is now a Scrying Orb. And the Dragon is going to be picked up as well. Second Dragon of the game. Second Dragon for Florida International University in this game. And now the pressure is on for Kansas University.
Man, that nostalgia. I was just took me back there for a second. Had to call it clairvoyance.
Clairvoyance. I was really surprised. I have not heard the word clairvoyance in a long time. Oh, throwback. No problem.
Yeah, and when you could use clairvoyance, you could also use things like what was the ability you used to cast on turrets to defend them?
Oh.
Oh man, Chaos gets blown
Well.
apart! Too much range there on the Jinx rocket. Shockwave will only hit on a Molino's Sorcerer. Everything's dark, but everyone's in the darkness together. You're not in here with me, I'm in here with you. Purist wants to get out of there, but Molino Sorcerer is going to chase him out. There's the parallel convergence. Slows him down there, but now we have to get back to the
finish
base.
it.
Look at the finish of the game. Secretic does go with the Grand Waltz, but he's going to get exhausted. Knocked back onto the fountain. The tree damage from the laser went through his Guardian Angel. It's going to kill him on the fountain, and the base stays alive.
That is incredible. Very nice
But
play.
not for long. Okay, we do have super minions
Oh my
continuing to
gosh.
push in there. The base still has about
It's knocking
350
him back.
HP. It's still alive. It's barely surviving.
Oh my gosh.
450 HP for KSU.
All right, so game is still on. Doesn't look very hopeful for Kansas State University right now, but they are alive and kicking. And man, it's just going to be a matter of time before Florida International University come back up and just, tap that Nexus.
Right. For perspective, the Nexus right now has about 900 HP. The lowest that it got was about 400 to 500 hit points. Fiora has about, if I can get this stat right, 374 AD. And a Guardian Angel that's still up. Now, if Alistar, if anybody had killed Fiora via any actual damage, then she would have respawned from Guardian Angel and been able to get off at least 1 to 2 auto attacks, especially when you consider that Cold Steel gives you, Blade Work, rather, gives you 50% increased attack speed on your auto attacks. So all I'm trying to say, if they had killed Fiora any other way besides knocking her into the fountain, which killed her through Guardian Angel, the game would be over right now.
Yeah, very nice play by Ionic, by the way. Kind of a playmaker up there, knocking not only the Super Minion out of the way, but also Secretic into the base. I believe it was him that knocked Secretic into the fountain to deny the Guardian Angel's rebirth. But with that being said, Guardian Angels is still up now, so that's more likely not going to happen again. But it looks like 5 men strong in the mid lane for Florida International University. They're just going to be pushing up. They have 1 inhibitor left, 1 turret left to take down. Secretic, I think he's trying to do a little sneaky backdoor. It's not going to work. And with Chaos on Tristan.
Dashing in, but here's the jump. Outrage setting up with a huge fight. Immediate cleanse. There's Chaos in the backline. Special name. Gonna get taken out, assassinated by Molimo. That boy Tommy very, very low there as well. New Flame trying to find an avenue to get back in, but you have to go for the Nexus.
Got it.
Secretic dashing through the entire fight to two-shot the Nexus. And that is going to be game 1 for Florida International University.
Very nice backdoor, almost through the front door, but just, saw his partners were in the front door. He's like, I'll just go through the side door. I don't have to worry about you guys. Secretic picking up that Nexus kill and the first game in this best of 3 for Florida International University. And, yeah, we're going to set up for game number 2, Rapid.
Wow, what a game. I cannot wait. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll come back with game number 2 between Florida International University and Kansas State.
Yeah, real quick, do want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Brain Gear, Twitch, and Alpha Draft. Go check them out. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, we are back for game number 2 in this best of 2 between Florida International University versus Kansas City State. Not Kansas City, Kansas State University. My name is Joshua Fegasquez here with Reed Rapid Melton to be exact, and we're already into picks and bans.
Man, those are the kind of mistakes you don't want to make.
I know. I know. People get
man, Kansas State people are coming for you.
I know. I don't want them to.
All right. Well, picks and bans here for game number 2, and there's a Fiora ban. No surprises there.
No.
Definitely going to keep that away from the top lane. And also maybe thinking about taking the Tristana pick away from Kaors. He was ridiculous in that last game, but towards the end had a few mispositionings. He jumped onto the fountain. He wound up dying instantly to Pakshi last game as Jinx just crit him down a couple of times over the wall. So some question marks in my mind for Kaors, but I think the big matchup that really decided things early on was that mid lane. New Flame roamed down bottom lane, picked himself up 3 kills in like 10 minutes. So you got to keep that guy under control early because, of course, on the other side, Special Flame wound up playing support Orianna for most of the game, was 0-7.
Yeah, and it was even heading toward the item bench for the Abyssal Scepter, which is something we typically don't see. I didn't even catch to see if he finished it or not. But yeah, so whenever you build an Abyssal on an Orianna, that's essentially you pretty much resigned to your fate of going support mid laner. But we have a Gangplank picked up. Banned last game, I believe. Not this time around, as Gnar and Fiora have made the ban list this time around. That Gangplank, he is going to be showing up huge. He is almost 100% pick or ban in Worlds right now.
Right, and I'm not sure if banning the Gnar was worth that. I'd rather play against a Gnar than a Gangplank, that's for sure. And what's more interesting is that this should be a mid lane Gangplank, not a top lane Gangplank. So have to keep an eye on that, but it is somewhat of a flexible pick. So we'll see where that decides to go. And the last pick is actually going to go over to Kansas State, or to Florida, rather, as they look to maybe counter pick a lane, which most likely will go to Special Name.
Yeah, we'll see what's picked up here. We have been seeing Zach as a jungler in Worlds from Coup Tigers. See if they want to lock that one in. Pakshi gonna go on to the Jinx, and yeah, the Zach is picked up. So it's the first this year for us in the Collegiate Star League. We haven't seen a Zach in a good while, and like I said, first this time. So I'm anxious to see some goo ganks here.
Yeah, jeez, I have not heard that one before. Yeah, Molimo Sorcerer been watching himself some Hojin, guy that busted it out for the Kook Tigers in Worlds, and well, successful. As many games as he played it, well, they won. So one thing with Zach is that you do need a team that can travel a very, very long distance. For Roccat in EU LCS, they actually pioneered a Malphite Pantheon synergy, where Pantheon would jump way far ahead of his team, and then Malphite would catch up along with like a Sivir ult. However, Malphite's actually the champion being thought of on the other side, so I'm not sure if we're necessarily going to see or going to need to see Kansas State go ahead and do that. And I'm not sure if anybody else out there can see the champion select, but I know I and okay, there we go. I just needed to update. So for Florida International, they take that Malphite away, so maybe that's going to be some counter engage that they'll need to maybe take a little bit of the wind out of Zach's goose sails.
Yeah, we'll see what they decide. Yeah, another Orianna pickup, so probably going to go another mid lane utility Orianna. Or may just change it up, seeing that hey, the Orianna utility wasn't working out. I was hitting some pretty dynamite shockwaves. You guys, I'm going to go full offensive damage, which he had a Rabadon's death cap last game too. But yeah, that Giant Spell really put off his mid-game damage spike that he could have had, because he was pulling out some great Orianna shockwaves. I want to see more of those, and I want to see more damage this time around. It would be nice. New Flame locking in the Twisted Fate, so a lot of global pressure coming out from Kansas State.
Right, so New Flame is going to say, well, look, maybe me winning my own lane isn't good enough. Maybe I have to win my team's lanes or help them do that. So he's going to pick the Twisted Fate, and that will allow him to help those side lanes a little bit more. One of the reasons that was actually pretty fortunate for Special Name is that even though he didn't, contribute a whole lot of damage, he was 0-7, didn't kill very many champions, and 0-7 for like the majority of the game. His utility worked very, very well because their top laner and AD carry were both incredibly strong. But this time around, if the side lanes don't do well, And we have Special Name who has the same sort of Orianna performance. He's going to be supporting players who aren't able to carry him like they were in the last game. So some definite things to watch out for. Side lane control is going to be very, very important. And New Flames Twisted Fate is definitely picked to help that out.
Yeah, and we see another ball carrier on the side of Florida International. We see the Malphite going to be throwing the Orianna ball on top of him. Really easy combo to set up. Unstoppable Force, Shockwave, bring everyone in, and then you just try to destroy them with the massive burst of damage you just did, which is all magic damage, mind you, because the Unstoppable Force, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, I believe is magic damage, and that's quite a bit of damage up front.
That is right. It is magic damage, and more importantly, it's magic damage against a team that are going to have a lot of magic resistance on them. I wouldn't be surprised to see New Flame go for a Chalice of Harmony early instead of going for Morellonomicon, at least that build path. And Zach, you can count on to build at least a Locket of the Iron Solari, but also probably a Spirit Visage in there as well if he has to deal with so much magic damage. Keep in mind, it's 3 out of 5 that deal magic damage there on Florida International, so we'll definitely have to see whether or not damage types come into play or how well each of these mid laners can support their team, both Special Name in team fights and New Flame early on picking off side lanes.
And that is for sure. We do have our team comps, though. Pakshi on Jinx and Ionic on Alistar. Same setup as last game. Malimo Sorcerer, Outrage 24. New Flame on Zac, Gangplank, and Twisted Fate, respectively. On the other side, it'll be that boy Tommy in the bot lane with Chaos on the Tristana once again. Pyrus on the Rex side. Changed it up a little bit. And Secretic going with a lot different of a top lane champion than the Fiora. Going to go with a more rock for your team, I guess you could say, in the Malphite. And Special Name returning on the Orianna. But we're going to kick it over to a quick break. My name is Joshua Fekesquez here with Reed Rapid Melton. Do want to give a shout out to our sponsors one last time for this Champion Select. Brain Gear, Twitch, and Alpha Draft. Go check them out. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, we are back for game number 2 in this best of 2 between Florida International University and Kansas State University. My name is Joshua Fat Quest here with Reed Rapid Melton, and we are underway. Some ping.
It's actually a best of 3, so we do have the potential for a third game.
Did I say something different?
You said best of 2. This is game number 2, though,
yes.
so I guess that makes about just as much sense.
That's
so
why
at
you're
least, among other reasons.
Of course.
So for what we're seeing right now, not quite the standard, just like everybody spread out and be as safe as possible. This is going to be a more grouping towards the bottom half of the map, so just setting up for their initial setup, which sounds somewhat redundant, but essentially just wanting to get themselves in a good spot to start things out. We're going to have not quite the double jungle that you're used to, unless Molimo Sorcerer wants to start up at the blue buff. I'm thinking Outrage is down here, not necessarily to double jungle. He can do a camp on his own, so he might be going for the Raptors there. Either way, we are going to have a very different setup on the other side of the map there for, I believe it is Florida State. Not Florida State, it's Kansas State. Florida International.
State.
I knew I was mixing something up.
I think maybe saying Florida State's probably better than saying Kansas City State like I did.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
No,
you don't want to mix up your Kansases.
No,
there.
just like you don't want to make up Texases or, I'm from the South Mississippi. They're all sensitive about that too. I think everybody is. But yeah, it looks like we are going to see a camp being taken for the bot lane of Kansas State. Oh my gosh, now I'm talking about it.
So here's what's going on. We got double jungles there for both sides, actually. So it is actually going to be the double jungle, not Gangplank taking a camp on his own. And that means that Gangplank's going to start with Parlay instead of going for double jungle, where you'd start with something like maybe a powder keg, depending on what camp you're going for. So at least for right now, the biggest thing to watch out for is not necessarily the early game, but what happens once these top laners actually wind up teleporting to lane. Gangplank, because he started with Parlay, was actually able to parlay some of the small minions and get bonus gold for that. So it would actually be ahead in gold off the double jungle compared to Malphite, but I'm not sure that should really be all that impactful.
I don't think it'll be too impactful either. Main thing is, though, is that it's a Gangplank in the top lane against a Malphite. So one thing is, if you don't ban out Gangplank, it would be assumed that you have a good counter for him. Just like we've been seeing a trend of Darius not being banned out. Play Renekton against him. Play Lulu against him. Totally fine. And that may be exactly what Florida International University is looking for by not banning out Gangplank this time around. Side maybe take Malphite in top lane.
Yeah. Gangplank actually does pretty well against Malphite, at least early on. Malphite's got a shield, but Gangplank has bonus true damage on Trial by Fire every few auto attacks, so it just chunks through the shield basically for you. Also, Gangplank doesn't really ever have to kill Malphite. He could just sit in lane and farm up. Same situation for Twisted Fate. As long as you're just even in lane, you just get more gold than your other lane opponents. So, got a jungle off here in the river.
Jungle off that Pyrus is winning, but looks like he is going to get a flash force out of him.
Why would... Wait, there's a tunnel right there.
Right? I think it was a panic, I believe.
Yeah, you just hit the tunnel. That's what the tunnel's there for. So, I don't know about that decision, but it's flash down from Rek'Sai, so nice little pickup there by Kansas State.
Might be one of those instances where maybe, I don't know, I've seen some players where they bring teleport, they might have thought they brought heal, and instead, click on it just out of a panic kind of thing. I feel like it was a panic move because yeah, he had a tunnel. There's no reason. I think it was available too because they do take some time to cool down and use. I'm pretty sure it was available also. I think it was just a panic move.
Right.
It cost him a flash though, so that's a big panic move.
Yeah. Well, back to the matter at hand, the actual game. Nothing too crazy happening between either side. We've got Tristana versus Jinx. Who knew? What happened to the other hyper carries? Well, Kog'Maw, I think, has fallen out of favor just due to building Trinity Force as opposed to Infinity Edge. So these are pretty much the two most comfortable, longest range AD carries in the game right now, aside from Kog'Maw, of course, which, like I said, we don't really see. Outrage 24, though, is starting to get bullied around maybe just a little bit because he's been focusing on farming a lot, and he didn't start with a crystalline flask. He's just going with consumables, so he won't have that renewability even if he's able to, go back into lane from teleporting once that skill is back up again.
Yeah, and Syncretic started the cloth armor with the various health potions, knowing he's not going to be spamming too many abilities, so gonna be all right in that top lane right now, and does get a little bit of damage put onto him, but Parlay still physical damage. Still, Socratic is still building strictly for the Gangplank right now. You have to worry about that a little bit later whenever New Flame starts roaming around the map with his Destiny, but for now. Oh, Yahtzee did not time this barrel right.
Yeah, I gotta watch out for that. Starting to drop down in a little bit of CS there as well, just because of a couple of mistakes like that. But oh no, it's like a 6 CS difference. Nobody really cares. The bigger things to talk about is what's going to happen mid lane, because either New Flame gets ganked and punished, like is about to happen right now. Pyrrha's waiting for it. Oh, on the wrong side, needs that yellow card. It locks it in, immediately stuns Rek'Sai out there. Almost dies to that gank. Only about 300 HP left.
Yeah, Pyrus with a nice knockup, but yeah, they did save his flash from New Flame, so he's not going to lose too much out of that one. Lost some health pots, or health on his person, but just going to go back. We have a gank in the bot lane. There's the Goose Slingshot, going to be knocking up Milimo Sorcerer, or no, not Milimo Sorcerer, Dat Boy Tommy. Nothing else to really follow it up there. Ionic not in position to get a proper CC chain.
Well, I guess wait. Okay, New Flame was thinking about teleporting bottom lane, but he actually canceled it, so that's kind of the worst of both worlds.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm trying to think if walking from bottom lane to mid would have been faster than walking from base to mid. I think it would have been, but regardless, New Flame in an okay position here. Goes with Needlessly Large Rod as his first item build versus Special Name, who's brought Chalice of Harmony.
So yeah, wants to clear those waves a little bit more, and as you said earlier, when you're Twisted Fate, as long as you go even, you're still ahead, just because of Roll the Dice from New Flame on Twisted Fate. So,
it's loaded dice.
Loaded dice, thank you.
I was going to say, you can roll dice all you want, but unless you're loaded, you're not going to get further ahead that way. So.
Yeah, well, good point.
And I believe, in fact, when they were making the sort of RNG for how much bonus gold you get per minion kill, it's actually stacked so that you more often roll above 3 than below 3. So statistically, you're getting a lot more gold than if every number was weighted evenly.
There you go, staying true to its name for sure. And that's why I was thinking, it was like not random dice, it still gets random, but a random amount of numbers. But if it is stacked, it is totally loaded dice, so my mistake on that one. Milimo Sorcerer.
Finding Pyrrhus again. He is not afraid to fight. Look at how much damage that maxed out. Oh my gosh, last auto, that's first blood. Just off of not respecting the roam from New Flame. Didn't even have to ult for that. Just walked up and took it. Very, very well played. And got to stay out of that river. It's forcing flashes out, forcing all kinds of bad stuff for Rek'Sai. Pyrrhus died there because he didn't have his flash from having used it earlier, not taking that tunnel.
Yeah, very nicely played by New Flame. That Needlessly Large Rod picking up momentum already because Pyrrhus has no magic resist item, so going on to full effect for him. There's the Void Rush coming out, going right to his red farm alarm. And it looks like we may have a little bit of roam. It looks like Special Name trying to get something going up there, but he's not even placing a ward. He's just hanging out. It goes back to mid lane. Not sure what he was doing there.
I was going to say, Milimo Sorcerer is doing the very slowest Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, that's
he walks up and down. Zach is not a Scuttle Crab jungler.
Not at all.
You see the Scuttle Crab, it's not going to kill you, but you're also not going to kill it for a very, very long time. Finally gets it down, but now mid lane's where all the action's at.
Yeah, looks like we do have some action going on over there. Milimo Sorcerer charging up. He actually launches himself out. Seeing there was a little bit of knowledge that he was there. No position for New Flame to really take advantage, so he's going to just launch himself out. Go back to jungling, and juggle camps that he does best, because he does have a good clear time with his AoE damage. That Scuttle Crab, it moves, and that's not Zach's favorite friend on that camp.
I'm watching Outrage top lane, and while this isn't one of those, somewhat anticlimactic tank versus tank fights, it's also not really Gangplank fighting Malphite. He's just fighting the minion lane over and over again. So it's like, do you want to watch Gangplank farm? Yes, just look top lane, because that's basically all that's going to be happening.
Now, the camera wants to watch him farm. And yeah, that is, and again, same with the TF. And again, as you mentioned earlier, you don't have to fight with Gangplank. When you play Gangplank, all you need to do is farm. And you farm with Parlay, you're going to get ahead of your enemy no matter what. So working out all right for him. He is down
Yeah.
in CS, but he's definitely not down in gold. He's actually a little bit ahead by like about 20.
Interesting here by Malphite. Secretic's going with a Frozen Heart Rush instead of building a Sunfire Cape. I feel like you almost have to build Sunfire Cape on Malphite, because otherwise you just don't have the same wave clear as you really need to fight out a Gangplank who's just going to be poking you down. I guess the extra mana does give you more of the ability to spam out your seismic shards, but I don't know. I think it's okay. You're still getting armor, you're still getting mana, both things that Malphite needs, but be interesting to see if that pays off better than having gone for a Sunfire Cape.
Yeah, that's interesting too, because Malphite is not super not Malphite, Gangplank is not auto attack eccentric, but we actually have a gank in the top lane. Nice launch from Malimo Sorcerer going from downtown to in town. Malimo Sorcerer taking up that kill in the top lane. Secretic going down. Nice.
Man, airfare these days awfully cheap, and they've managed to get Hojin from Worlds all the way to play in the CSL. Malimo Sorcerer really putting down some quality Zac play that honestly we haven't seen at all. Not because we've seen bad Zac play, because we haven't seen any.
Yeah, that's why. I was surprised to see him. We saw him twice in the Worlds, and now we see him in the Collegiate Star League, and this is the first time we've seen him this year. First time I've seen him in a long time, because I don't think he was played even in the latter half of the Collegiate Star League last year. So yeah, very nicely played by Malimo Sorcerer, showing up, acting like he knows how to play Zac, and he probably does, getting that kill in the top lane, but in the mid lane, New Flame is not only winning the CS battle, he's winning the KDA battle and the gold battle. He's with that loaded dice and his kill. He's actually quite a bit ahead of. He's 900 gold ahead right now of Special Name. But Pyrus gonna try to change that. That was an automatic flash coming out from.
Wait, where's Pyrus going? What?
Pyrus, don't go under the tower. You're not tanky enough for that.
He tunneled under and then flashed back out again. That's that gank I don't like, where you try to overflow. That was a little bit like Rainover did the very same thing, where he tunneled under and then flashed out immediately several times at Worlds. So if you guys are familiar with that. But as far as this game goes, it's kind of reminded me a lot about like Ku versus Fnatic. If you watch that series, very similar jungle situations being.
Yeah, eerily similar, and not the best in regards for Florida International right now. Pyrus, he needs to get under control, because he also flashed earlier when he had a tunnel. Didn't need to do that. Now he tunneled and used the flash when he didn't need to do either. Beneath the turret, so a little bit of focusing issues possibly. Needs to get himself under control and try to make a few more plays that don't involve so much risk, because Rek'Sai not a big turret diver in the early going. It's more of Elise's job, and Elise was not in this game, so shouldn't be seeing that this early on.
Watching New Flame, we were talking about how much gold he's gotten from stacked deck, or from loaded dice. If you're in game, you can actually see exactly how much that gives you. But suffice it to say, he is definitely ahead in the gold count, and he's putting pressure on this turret. Might even be able to take it down. Blue cards it again. It can only really stand up to maybe one more of those. This is a Luden's Echo first on Twisted Fate. Not a build that you see very often. Usually it's more of a CDR and mobility item set. Bottom lane.
Yeah, here comes Cannon Barrage, but you have to wonder how much damage. There's a Flash Pulverize from Ionic. Super Mega Death Rocket going down. Karos, he's out of there, but that boy Tommy getting knocked away from his turret. Here comes a teleport. New Flame on the backside, picking up Karos. Special Name is there, but too little too late.
Yeah, he's going to be able to save that turret and keep it from going down his full HP, so probably wouldn't have had very much problem with that anyway. Interested to see that, Malphite couldn't join that fight, so probably would have been worth Outrage trying to teleport down there too, just so that you can take the turret and the dragon instead of just the dragon, because I don't think he would have had to worry about Secretic taking his turret up top lane. Maybe it's just a little bit more of a win that they could have taken, but hey, a win's a win, and that is going to be the first dragon of the game, as well as 2 more kills coming their way.
Yeah, Kansas State University, they're trying to get a foothold in the early game. Try to take advantage of it and try to snowball their way into the mid game. With the Gangplank, it's very easy to do, more so than even Nar. Pyrus in the mid lane. New Flame, is he going to be able to walk out of this one? He doesn't have flash. Malimo Sorcerer is there as well, so he's just going to back off. Gold card was not even needed there. There's no position from Special Name to really try to speed up Pyrus or slow down New Flame.
Watching Dat Boy Tommy quietly chunk out at that ward. There we go. Whacking it down. There's mid lane turret. New Flame taking it out. I think that was fairly inevitable. It had like 2 HP. But now that mid turret's gone, that means that Twisted Fate's done with his lane. So he can keep ulting these side lanes as he has done very effectively. But maybe need to head down to bottom. There's a teleport from Gangplank to a deep ward. Bottom lane, Heroes of Dat Boy Tommy might be in trouble.
And here comes another teleport as well. New Flame coming in. He doesn't have the gold card up. There it is. Dat Boy Tommy going down. Outrage 24 picking up that kill. Looks like Kansas State University want to look for this bot lane turret, but Void Rush coming up into the top lane. Secretic and Pyrus trying to answer it back, but they don't have a minion wave right now.
Gold card there on Kaors.
Oh, Kaors.
Mobility Pakshi.
Down. Nice kill by Pakshi. Nice turret being taken as well. And looks like they're just going to shove into the inner top lane turret because no one is there to stop them. Special name in the mid lane. Pyrus and Secretic in the top lane. No teleport for Secretic. Void Rush was just used too. This is going to be a pretty easy turret. Pakshi on Jinx. Able to take that down, no problem.
And Kansas State on top of everything. They were somewhat disappointed in their games that they played earlier this week. Of course, I was talking about those games in football, not necessarily in League of Legends. If they were playing Texas this week, I would have a much harder storyline to talk about unbiasedly, because of course I am from Texas. But Kansas State, definitely on top of this 5-0, and more importantly than just talking about the scoreline, it's about where they are objective-wise too. They've taken down 3 turrets already. Might be looking to exit this lane phase.
Yeah, and you're mentioning score. It is worth noting that Florida International University actually goes in, coming into this match undefeated. They're too low in their league right now, while Kansas State University are 1-1, so they are wanting to redeem themselves from that previous loss. And Florida International, of course, they're wanting to keep their record perfect, untainted right now, but so far it's not looking good. It might be going into game number 3 as Florida International University did pick up the first win in the best of 3, but Kansas State, they're bringing it back. So far, it's still early, but right now they are 4K ahead and pulling a little bit more. Special name
Chopper's gonna launch. That is gonna force the flash out. A special name there as well. The flash through Super Mega Death Rocket, not actually gonna be all that effective, and there's the Unstoppable Force to take out Outrage. Special name barely making it out of there alive with his flash, but still a nice kill picked up. First kill of the game.
It is his first kill of the game. Their first kill of the game. So yes, Lemo Sorcerer hanging around Pyrus. He throws down the smite, the smite onto him. Not much is going to happen here. Secretic, he's going to get bounced up, knocked around. Isn't going to be enough, though. He has quite a bit of armor behind him. There's a flash there underneath turret now. Pyrus getting just pummeled with rockets. Secretic is not going to go down. He's barely going to make it out. Special name teleporting in. Is it to his death? It is. Pakshi picking up that kill. Nice cannon barrage coming out from Outrage 24. Turret dive successful for Kansas State.
Spent his Silver Serpent on Death's Daughter. That adds an extra 300% damage increase on your first cannonball right in the middle. And because there was so much CC, it just really helped take him out. Secretic now coming back from base the hard way. Not happy about what happened up there in the top lane. He used his Unstoppable Force to get 1 kill, and then his team just got chased down and punished for it.
Yeah, very nicely played. It was a nice rotating on the turret aggro as well from Kansas State. They did not get the turret though, and they actually used quite a bit to try to secure more kills, but only got 1. Special name not using these teleports to the greatest effect right now. He's 1-1-0. He's actually farming quite well, so he's staying ahead. He's looks like trying to build into Rabadon's Death Cap. I believe that's what it would be. Going for that more offensive build compared to last game. But like I said, he did have the Rabadon's Death Cap last game. He just went into a different route outside of that one. But Dragon is going to be up in about 35 seconds. Looks like we may be seeing a Dance Rapid.
Well, Dance is going to have to take a little bit of a break. I don't know, they forgot the music. They have to order, embroidered napkins for everyone. I don't know what the delay is, but Dragon, true story, man. I can't make these things up.
That's I mean, the dance floor is not there. That's what's the dance floor isn't made. The dragon's still in the sky. Like, all right, guys, I'll be there in a second.
There's no arcade Sona, so no dance floor yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's quite a bit of damage coming out. Malimo Summoner, Sorcerer,
okay.
Not gonna be doing that one. Slingshot.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit ahead of schedule there. But now the dragons finally spawn. Here's the dance floor. I guess you can count that Scuttle Crab like a dance floor. And for Kansas State, they are chunking this dragon down so quickly. Who wants to start this fight? Dragon taken. It's the second dragon of the game. And no one really going to punish Kansas. They're just going to walk on out.
No, yeah, they're going to get that uncontested. There's a teleport coming out from Outrage. He's going to defend that inner top lane turret. And there is Secretic going in. Nothing to follow him up, though. Pakshi makes it out alive. Dapple Tommy is caught in the front line. Secretic trying to soak up as much damage as possible. Malimo Sorcerer, he's going to be chunked into 4 pounds of goo. Is he going to go down, though? There's really no focus on him. He might actually make it out. No, Kairos in the back line.
Wow.
Get the reset, rocket jump out, take out Malimo Sorcerer. Very nice pickup from Florida International University.
And that boy Tommy's so lucky to be alive right now. He got out of there with sub 100 HP. A light breeze would have killed him there. Oh, Outrage
Kairos
going for the and one.
Yeah, one parlay would have just obliviated Kairos' face. He's gonna make it out of there just fine. Outrage. Whoa! Look at the damage. That boy Tommy gets 1/3 chunked almost.
Wow. Yeah, it turns out Gangplank, when he finishes a Trinity Force, does a small amount of damage.
Yeah. Not too bad at all. Looks like a Void Rush was used. Another Farmer Alarm from Pyrus. He's just gonna take up that red buff and not even wait for Kairos. He's just gonna take it himself. I have to wonder. That would be a little bit better in Kairos' favor. Or at least Kairos' hands, maybe.
Yeah, I suppose so. Well, for Cairo, last game he was playing the Tristana that overjumped almost all the time. Well, this time around, he's going to have the opportunity to redeem himself, and that's really what I'm most interested in. It's not necessarily the early game. We've seen a very strong early game from Kansas, but can Florida International figure out how to close games without, like overextending everywhere like they did last time? They could have ended that last game maybe like 10 minutes earlier if they hadn't decided to jump into the Nexus fountain and then dive the Nexus and fail to kill it just barely.
Yeah, it was a little hasty, and we'll see, definitely see if they their opponents can finish off faster. But actually, this game is still decently close. It's not completely running away out of control for Kansas State University. They're 4K up. They're only 1 turret up. They do have the dragon control, though, and they're trying to establish some vision around Baron. But it looks like Florida International University, they're having trouble responding to this double teleport, actually kind of triple teleport that New Flame is bringing with the Destiny.
Like all the teleports.
I know.
We saw a Nocturne in the last game. That could have counted there too. Lots of recalls, though, coming in for Kansas. They recognize their mid lane is woefully unprotected.
Yeah, and both teams looks like they're going to be grouping into the mid lane. New Flame. That's quite a bit of gold. I want to see how much gold he actually has on that. There's a way to check it. There's not a way for me to check it, but he probably has quite a chunk of gold right now on his loaded dice. He's actually 2K ahead of Special Name.
Yeah.
Special
Most
Name,
gold in the game.
Yeah.
And more gold than Gangplank, who has been farming up a storm there with 216 CS.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Special Name, he's not dying an extraordinary amount either, and he's farming. And then New Flame is just outclassing him in gold easily, and that's what you get whenever you bring a Gangplank into Twist of Fate. You get these champions can scale into that mid game a lot faster just based off of the amount of gold they get from their passives. It's incredible amount of gold they get, especially when they're not dying, they're actually farming.
And we got the wind up explosive, or not explosive caskets, elastic slingshot.
Yeah,
there we go. There's the
flash from New Flame. Secretic, he misses his unstoppable force. Ionic there's the cannon barrage as well. Glacial Fissure is not going to stop Wildcards from taking up a kill for New Flame. There's elastic slingshot. He's going to flash and bounce into the enemy team of Florida International University. Pyrus, he's going to be hit underneath the turret. Ionic doing a great job soaking up this damage from the turret. And there's the Ignite onto Pyrus. Malima Sorcerer going to launch himself in, get himself a kill. Meanwhile, on the backside, through the wall, New Flame hitting wildcard after wildcard. This time onto Kairos, picking up a kill. That is a 3-for-0 in favor of Kansas State.
Yeah, you know where those kills went? Straight to New Flame.
Yeah, I know.
He's so good at diving in there. He's even running, I believe, it was the Ionix Ignite that was actually finally able to help take down the attempted escape there by Pyrus. Kairos jumped forward to try to pick up a nice kill with his ultimate and an auto attack. Nice save there immediately by Ionic using the face of the mountain. And I don't know, Ionic's just really putting in some work here. He's saving his team with face of the mountain. He's helping kill the enemy team with big engages. And you know what's not helping kill the team is missing Malphite ultimates like that. Secretic failing the engage that his team really needed. Yeah, and even if that were, well, I guess that's the whole point, is that New Flame's doing so much work. He went only onto New Flame, it looked like, but that was almost like a blink of an eye flash by New Flame. A lot faster reaction than I've seen coming out from anyone I mean solo queue, so very nicely played by New Flame. His teleport is up. Outrage's teleport is up. The Dragon will be up in 20 seconds. We'll talk about that dance floor. It's being laid out right now. I think we're about to have some dance partners. Kind of, do the old do-si-do around the Dragon. We'll see who picks it up. I believe right now, Kansas State, they're in full control of this game. And they might be in full control of this third Dragon. Get that movement speed bonus to their name as well. Yeah, movement speed would be very big, especially if they want to have the ability to maybe move around Unstoppable Force. If you can move out of range in time, definitely takes flashes. Sometimes you can move. Look at those barrels just continue to chunk people down over and over. Talme down to half HP. Unstoppable Force is up. Secretic is there. There's Cannon Barrage. Nice knockup by Ionic. Is it going to be enough? Wildcard's just shredding through everyone. Secretic goes to the back lines. He gets destroyed, though. Double kill for the big pirate in the top lane. Outrage doing great. New Flame, TP. He's going to hit Kairos. Is it going to be enough? There's a wildcard. That was not. That was a triple kill with the Zanya's wildcard. He's like, I'm going to throw these turn gold, guys. Don't worry about me. I'm going to just completely Zanya's the explosive shot from Kairos. Kairos still had his Buster Shot up. He was going to try to use that for New Flame. Did not work out. Yeah, definitely not quite the fight that they wanted, and you got to keep control of this Gangplank. He is going nuts right now. 4, 1, and 6, and now onto this Baron. Very low health bars from Olimo. Here comes the farm alarm. Rek'Sai's going to be in the area. One tunnel under the wall, or over the wall, I guess, whatever you want to call it. It's all it's going to take, but a little bit late. They might try to turn this one around. Now he needs to flash over the wall. Doesn't have it. This tunnel, like you said, didn't have it. Bakshi coming up with that one, and that is a pause coming out. Now, while this is happening, Malimo Sorcerer is his passive is proc, so he will not have that up. So it's going to be a little bit more risky to tower dive or just dive into the back lines, especially when you go into these inhibitor turrets. You're going to start getting that Death Star laser that starts doing a little bit more damage. Game paused, at least for now, but yeah, recalls coming in. Shouldn't see any actual action. Apparently, is saying he had some connection issues there. Now, when I jump in to try to steal Baron and fail, I always experience lag. So, of course. maybe that's what's going on here. All I know is that, at least for Purist right now, his contribution to the team may be a little bit less than it was last game, that's for sure. 0-4, not the score that you want, and he only has 1 assist. So he hasn't even been involved in all of his team's kills, like was very prevalent in game number 1. He was all over the board, and quite the turnaround here is Kansas State. Maybe it's just a blue side thing, and you're on the blue side, so you have a better chance at everything. Well, I mean, yeah, no, I understand. If the game keeps going like that, we're going to find out in game number 3, because at Florida International University, they're going to be back on the blue side. If they can pull it out, then it's 3 times in a row. It might not just be a coincidence. But yeah, right now, game is still paused, and Pyrus is he's loading back into the game. And I want to actually point out, so I just said Pyrus, you pronounce it a different way. We're keeping up with that trend that one of us hears the other and is like, I'm not going to pronounce it that way. Well, I'll pronounce it a different way. I like that. Well, the reason I do that is because of words like Pyrrhus The Greek philosopher. He's the reason we have the phrase "a Pyrrhic victory," where you win the battle, but you take such heavy casualties that can you really call it a victory? Not sure if that's where this is coming from, but
Maybe. And of course Ionic also, yeah. Well, actually, I've been kind of switching back and forth between Ionic and Ionic, only because can't really tell. See, at first I thought that I didn't think there were the two dots above the O. I thought it was a line to signify that it was a long O, but now I don't know. I just call him Ionic anyway. I like the name Ionic, but I'm sure he means Ionic.
well, also my history buff friends would kill me if I didn't correct myself. Pyrrhus actually king, not a philosopher. But either way, back to the matter at hand. I'm trying to figure out what other names I can pronounce incorrectly, just so that we can continue our lack of
Say
in sync pronunciation.
Pakshi, Pakshi, possibly.
No, I don't know what I can do with that one.
I don't know. Really
I guess
either.
I'm trying to figure out how that O with the umlaut over it is pronounced. My phonetics do not extend quite that far.
Yeah, I'm not really confident on that one either. But I think it even tends for it to be Ionic, but I do like the word Ionic. But as we were talking about this, Pyrrhus, he is logged back into the game, so we should be getting underway in just a moment. Of course, I do have chat blocks, so I don't really know what they're saying, if they are communicating a go or anything of the sorts.
They said ready, so it looks like we should be good to unpause here in just a second. We've got Outrage doing Gangplank invitations in chat, trying to be as sporadic as possible. They're just logging him back into all of his communication software and should be good to go here in a second.
Alright, sounds good. And while we're doing this, we can go and take a look at some items and some KDAs, because there's some interesting KDAs, only because there's only 2 deaths on the side of Kansas State University right now. Florida International, they have not had the best of luck getting these kills. They've been diving in with Secretic. It's not been synced up with the Shockwave, and it hasn't really been hitting anybody too crucial, and there's not enough follow-up damage to really play up onto the Unstoppable Force. So, with that being said, huge items for New Flame. And this is why his wild cards are doing so much damage. And if you get close to him, his pick-a-card is going to do even more damage because of his Lich Bane, but he has a lot of other damage behind it too. He's looking to build into Rabadon's Death Cap now, and he's not too far from it. He has a Blasting Wand and the actual recipe gold for itself, but also on the side of Pakshi, this is 3 big items built up now too. Looks like he's building into a Bloodthirster. This is going to be even harder to kill because he hasn't died yet, and I think it's going to stay that way for the remainder of the game, unless they can just get a huge wombo combo on the side of Florida International University. But they have so many targets to hit now.
Yeah, one big thing to talk about, New Flame substitute mid laner here for Kansas.
Yeah.
He's a Chinese foreign exchange student, and so at least they said while we were getting him in the lobby initially that there are some communication issues, but he's I believe they said Diamond 2 on the Chinese servers. So coming over here to North America, definitely in a class of his own. You can really see that 507 on this Twisted Fate, a ton of damage in that build, and I can't wait to see how hard he's going to chunk down these turrets. Look at that gameplay goal.
Cannon Barrage just underneath the turret, just to drive back Florida International University, and it's not going to take Pakshi any time at all to take down this turret. Very nicely played by Outrage. Don't even go for kills right now, because at this point in the game, oh, you're going to get a kill anyway for Super Mega Death Rocket. Nice Shockwave coming out, but special name still falls. There's Secretic. Yeah, Secretic with the Unstoppable Force going in. Does pick up a kill onto the Alistar's first death of the game, but Pakshi with the Sidewinder Heat Sinker gonna pick up the kill on Secretic, and that is more likely gonna be game number 2 going over to Kansas State University to pull us into game number 3.
Wow, going all the way, a 3-game series, and here we go into game number 3. What are your thoughts coming into that next game, Fekaz?
Well, we've seen a lot of focus on the top lane between Secretics on the Fjord in the first game, and now Outrage doing so well with the Gangplank on the second game. Now the thing is, New Flame, he's shining. Pakshi shined as well, because there's shown. Oh yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. No. I know it bothers you, and it does bother me too if I catch it. But
Man,
sometimes.
there's English teachers watching. This is CSL. We
I
gotta
know,
uphold.
I know. No. Totally make me right on those. But my point is, they have to really focus on New Flame. But with it being a sub player, you have to wonder, what do you really know about him? You know he plays a really good Twisted Fate. You know he plays a pretty good Ahri. And then you have that. You have to either focus them or possibly focus Fiora and Gangplank ban, and then you leave something open for New Flame. It's pretty hard going into this next game.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we're going to have to take a break to do that. But before we do, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors at Brain Gear, Twitch, and Alpha Draft for making this game and all of our other games possible. Of course, thanks to everybody else for watching. Stick around. We'll be right back. Kansas State versus Florida International University coming up next.
All right, we are back in game number 3 in the final game for this best of 3 between Florida International University and Kansas State University. My name is Joshua Feck as Quest here with Reed Rapid Melton, and we are already in pick and ban phases. Not surprised to see that Twisted Fate gone.
Yeah, no more Twisted Fate out there. Really exciting to see that the ban, or to see it played in last game, now banned. Will we still see that Fiora and Gnar ban that carried over from game 1 into game 2? Going to be interesting to kind of follow the picks and bans as they adapt between each one of these games. At least for me, the big question is not really going to be about the top lane. It's going to be about mid. You can see the Orianna now banned out as well.
Yeah, that's interesting because the more you ban out in that mid lane, the less you have to ban in that top lane. So it's interesting to see what Florida International is going for here, because there's a bigger chance that they're going to leave one of those big power picks in the top lane. Yeah, now there's only 2 bans left with Tom Kinch as a ban. That means Fiora, Gangplank can still be banned, but now Elise or Darius can still be up if they decide to go with those.
That's true. Nice to see the Gangplank banned there as well. So never going to let Outrage do that again. The Gangplank Alistar combo specifically worked very well. Alistar able to get those big pulverizes so that the Death's Daughter from Gangplank's ultimate would just hit right on point every single time. Tons of extra damage there. But we talked about the AD carries here as well. I think that's the only role we haven't touched on so far. Jinx and Tristana. I think Tristana has had more of an impact so far this series, but also very volatile. Jinx, kind of the AD carry counterpart, at least between these two.
Yeah, and the main reason why they're picking them is just to kind of counter each other's late game turret sieging pressure. And so far, yeah, Tristana, I do like Tristana a little bit better, but so far it's 1-1. Tristana won the first game, and Jinx won the last game with Pakshi pulling up on that one with 0 deaths, by the way, but that could also be attributed to how well the team was playing on the side of Kansas State University. So we'll see what happens in this game, but Jinx locked in for the Florida International, so still not giving anything away with those picks. Or with that pick, rather.
Got to keep an eye on the next few because, Ashe hovered over. I would expect Tristana here just because those are the two AD carries we've seen for the previous games. But with an Ashe, you can run an entirely different combination. And if the Ashe is locked in, I'd expect an Alistar to join her now that we are switching sides. Might want to just keep the Freljord theme going here as Brahms hovered over there as well. Really interested to see why they would go with Ashe. It has to do with their team comp, obviously. So they want to run more of like a pick team composition or something with a lot of hard engage, as opposed to something that's going to scale into late game and have a ton of damage there from a hyper carry.
Yeah, and of course with the Ashe, you do get that long range, definitely long range engage. You got to stay safe that way. See what Pakshi can do with this. Socratic insta-locking the Darius. There he is. So that's going to allow Kansas State to just counter him. And talked about it earlier, there are quite a few counters to Darius these days that have been popping up in Worlds. Darius isn't such a huge pick right now as Gangplank, but I mean, it's still pretty powerful, but there are counters. I don't know if the drill really...
There we go.
What's up?
I was saying the Braum is a pretty big counter pick to Darius because Darius has to actually walk up to you to use all of his abilities. You can't do that if you're perma-slowed by Braum, either with Winter's Bite, concussive blows, glacial fissure, all that stuff is just terrible to walk through. So not sure about that insta-lock on the Darius. Granted, it's a great pick, but it also doesn't really do well into Gnar either.
No, not at all. And Elise is left up as well. And this will be the first game Elise is shown in this best of 3 if she's locked in. Malimo Sorcerer did very well on the Zac last game. Very well on the engages. Switching back over, we'll see what he locks in. Elise is definitely a great pickup, but when you have an Elise that's already when you have Elise in already showing on the other side, that means they're not going to be playing Elise. So if you're more comfortable on the Zac, go ahead and lock it in. That's exactly what Malimo Sorcerer did instead of picking away the Elise, seeing that it'd be nothing to pick away from, really, since Pyrus locked in Lee Sin.
Alright, well, with Lee Sin locked in, interesting to me to see no Elise locked in either. Elise definitely one of the top tier of junglers right now. First pick and ban a lot of times at Worlds, so you'd expect to see that as, a big priority. The consistent pick there on Zac, I'm not sure about either, but I think the Zac pick worked very, very well last game, able to get off the ground quite literally very, very early and then keep building tankier and tankier. But like we said, the Ashe pick earlier telegraphed this hard engaged team comp, and at least for the mid laner, which is left last for New Flame, see if he gets the opportunity to pick something that will win his matchup just as hard as his Twisted Fate did last time.
Yeah, and that's very well played by Kansas State. They know that the other lanes, there could be fine. The big star right now is New Flame. He's a sub, and these subs have been showing up pretty big in the CSL so far. Last week, what was it? So Jaded was one of the sub for top laner for his team, and did very well, coordinated with his team like he was a natural fit. But we're seeing the same thing over on Kansas State right now. New Flame doing well in the first game, but still it wasn't enough to carry. Second game though, did quite well on the Destiny Teleport Twisted Fate. Did very well with keeping up the map pressure and carrying his team to victory pretty easily. Hopping over the Yasuo this time around. And it wouldn't be a bad pick, I suppose. It'd be lacking a little bit of magic damage on Kansas State's, but I don't think it would be that bad. Jace is a little interesting though.
Oh yeah, very interesting,
Yeah.
definitely. The Yasuo I think would make perfect sense here. A lot of knockups, and especially into Zac. If you're gonna play Zac, you might as well play Gragas, just because it's the same idea. But the Yasuo pick is definitely going to work very well. And if we talked about how hard New Flame carried last game, Yasuo is a hyper carry there in the mid lane, also capable of helping his team with that hard engage. So really exciting to see another carry there for New Flame. I'm excited to see how well he does on it, and a very different AD carry switch between both teams. Still have the Jinx, but no Tristana, instead going for this Ashe. Going to switch things up there a little bit for Kansas.
Yeah, so that's to make it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, I have our teams locked in. Ashe, Braum, Zac, Gnar, and Yasuo over on the side of Kansas State. Morgana, Lee Sin, Darius, Jinx, and Victor on the side of Florida International University. My name is Joshua Fekes Quest, here with Reed, Rapp, and Melton. We'll be back in-game in just a moment. Before we go, though, I do want to give a shout-out to our sponsor, Brain Gear, a daily brain supplement with a formula that supports the brain at a cellular level. No sugar, only 5 calories, perfect to get you going for your weekly best of 3. Check them out, along with Alpha Draft. Win real money by playing fantasy esports. We've been seeing those sorts of organizations pop up. Alpha Draft, one of the better ones. Go check them out as well. Join thousands each week in drafting teams in LoL, Dota 2, CSGO, and Smite for your chance at a huge payout. And of course, Twitch. And if you're watching anywhere else besides Twitch, I question where you're watching it from, because Twitch is the space, because Twitch will probably be in space before any others, because they are the largest streaming platform in the world today, right now. We're going to get going on this into the third game in this best of 3 between Kansas State and Florida International University. Stick around. we are back into game number 3, the last game of the night between Florida International University and Kansas State University. My name is Joshua Fekes Quest here with Reed Rapid Melton. I think I said every university proper that time. Properly.
Yeah, hey, there you go.
I got it.
English teachers everywhere, teaching your collegiate classes how to talk real good. That's how you do it. Whoa, Secretic!
Yeah,
face checking. There's the Braum pass and the concussive blows.
Oh, stun down. Heal goes off. He actually saves his flash. So very well played by Secretic as far as salvaging what just happened to you. So only a summoner heal going down as far as KOers is concerned.
Man, that is the pretty much the best situation you could possibly have hoped for after walking into that. Secretic barely getting out of there alive, and that's the real reason that Darius is so counterpicked by champions like Gnar and like Braum specifically, is that you can just lock him down for so long. He's not really able to deal damage. Now, that's obviously a level 1 illustration, but look at where Darius is now going back to. Secretic back to the bottom half of the map, to double jungle, whereas we have the furthest top champion, his special name, who's setting up for his mid lane situation, which will be very important to watch.
Yeah, we'll see if special name can get a little bit more of a foothold in this game. He does have exhaust, which is a very nice summoner bring against a Yasuo. Now, with that being said, New Flame is on that teleport. He's shown that he can do some very huge amount of map pressure damage with that teleport, so we'll see if he can keep that up in this game. But special name should be pretty safe if New Flame gets level 6 and decides to dive in onto special name with that exhaust up.
And that is something that should be pointed out, the exhaust summoner spell. There's only that one on the side of Kansas State, but for Florida International, they've got 2 running that on Victor there as well. And I gotta kind of question that. While yes, it is very effective at limiting Yasuo's damage, you want to bring either Ignite on Victor or Teleport on Victor specifically, so that you have the ability to either kill your lane or just teleport around a very, very positional mage there in Victor. So you want to be able to teleport bottom lane for big plays or vice versa.
Yeah, that's exactly what New Flame will be doing. And yeah, special name giving a bit of respect over to New Flame, saying, all right, I more likely can't kill you, but I'm going to make sure you can't kill me. But yeah, again, with that being said, it's not stopping him from killing other lanes. New Flame already getting a little bit of damage on a special name. Dashing in. Getting an auto attack, dashing out. Just like a Yasuo does. Nice. Going back in. Knocks the special name up. Actually dodges the gravity well. Gets a lot more damage onto him. If New Flame had Ignite, this would more likely be first blood coming up pretty soon. But he's going to have to play it a little bit more cautiously, a little bit more slow this time around.
Mid lane already special name, almost dead already.
Jeez. He does have that. He does have the exhaust up, and this is why. Karos, though, he's getting just poked down by Pakshi.
Oh my gosh!
Don't understand how much damage that just the Q from Ashe does until you're slowed for eternity and just get pelted on. So Karos is gonna learn that firsthand. Flash blown in the bot lane for Karos. Yeah, that's a big
oh man, now it's that boy Tommy that might be cut out. There's the concussive blows. Gonna need to see at least one summoner. Flash blown there as well.
Flash blown indeed. Outrage. He's gonna be apprehended into the Noxian authority. He just hops right out. And yeah, so double flash down in the bot lane for Florida International University. That's just a huge red light for any jungler, especially a divey one like a Zac, Limo Sorcerer. Might be making his way down there pretty soon. That is a good thing about a Zac, because you can tower dive relatively easily with your passive.
Now still going into the mid lane. Oh, missing a couple of those Qs. New Flame not quite on top of his Steel Tempest, but able to essentially 1v2. He's playing the mid lane against 2 champions. When one has to recall, the other one comes in and fills, and still doing very, very well.
Yeah, New Flame's going to go back. He has the teleport. He's going to go back and buy the Avarice Blade outright, but a lot of damage going in on the top lane. Secretic might have bitten off a little bit more than he could chew, but Outrage not going to go in all the way on that one.
You can see Outrage doing a great job of avoiding being hit there by the Decimate, because it prevents that extra healing from coming back to Darius. And once he transforms back into Mini Gnar right now, he will be able to continue that ranged harass that Gnar is so good at doing. Mid lane possible gank coming up here in just a second with Malimo Sorcerer walking into a warded brush, so that's going to be scouted out there, but only level 5 is Yasuo.
Yeah, New Flame, he's going to be locked down. Barely any damage coming back onto New Flame with that shield coming up, so special name, he is in a world of hurt. Actually built a cloth armor, so he's forced from even building offensively right now. Can't upgrade his Hextech core. He can't build offensively, has to go with a cloth armor because he's getting poked down so much by New Flame.
Now, Dat Boy Tommy is actually leveling up his Dark Binding, so fairly standard. Sometimes you'll see Morganas level up their pool to shove the wave maybe a little bit more quickly. You mostly see that out of mid lane Morganas, though, so Dark Binding definitely the more common support pick, just because that is so much of a part of your utility.
Oh, yeah, and the stun, or that's not even a stun, it's a root. Actually does quite a bit. Wind Wall not quite going the wind pattern you intended.
The wind's blowing a different direction.
Yeah, that it is, and special name, he gets knocked up. There's Last Breath going in, exhaust immediately.
Exhaust.
Yeah, and that is going to save special name, and now he may be on the offensive, but he's not level 6.
Maybe some turnaround potential there for special name if he had been able to ult on that, but not, like you said, not level 6. No Super Mega Death Rocket to kill off Chaos, but still got to keep an eye on that mid lane. It's 2v1 now, with soon to be a 2v2. Malimo Sorcerer, once again, as a Zac, trying to kill the Scuttle Crab is a very arduous process.
Yeah, if it just stood still, Zac would be a lot happier in that scenario. But Zac, yeah, he's his worst enemy is something that moves. I mean, that can be said for a lot of champions, but, you know, he has long cooldowns, poor guy. Kero.
Yeah. Oh, man, Black Shield, another Dark Binding. Nice. That one's actually going to land. Not any damage.
Yeah, no damage to follow it up on that one. New Flame, he's going to try to get even more aggressive in that mid lane. Malimo Sorcerer, he is out-leveled here. Pyrus has quite a bit of damage in that Lee Sin, but there's a New Flame coming up to try to set him on fire. Pyrus gets out thanks to a Gravity Well. Special name, saving up his jungler there. Now Secretic, he's in the mid lane. I don't know what he's doing there. I guess he's going to cover right now. Or maybe not.
Still waiting on still waiting on the big roam opportunities from either top lane with their teleports, able to influence other lanes, or specifically from New Flame. He really needs. Oh, okay, there's another ultimate
going in. There is no exhaust this time around, but New Flame, I don't know, he did not go in on that one. There was a flash coming out from special name. New Flame wants to save that flash. I feel like he could have just flashed in and got the kill, but wants to play a little bit more conservative, knowing special name doesn't have a teleport to really keep up in the farm.
About the teleport timing, just to keep an eye on that. New Flames is almost back up again, but oh man, here comes Darius going on in. Yeah. Will not hit with the outside.
Outrage just hops out though, and that's kind of what you do. There's the Noxian Guillotine. It's not going to be a kill. There's a Flash Decimate. Nicely played by Secretic. He even gets a flash out of Outrage.
Outrage should have seen that coming. It's like, why is the Darius winding up obviously out of range? I wonder if he's flashed yet. What's that? He hasn't. Yeah, so maybe should have been predictable there for Outrage, but didn't predict it. And really good play there by Secretic. Easy to kite Darius, unless he could just flash on top of you.
Yeah, very nicely played by Secretic, getting that pivotal first blood for a big carry champion like Darius, so he is going to try to take advantage of that as much as possible. Goes back with 1,666 in his pocket, and be building up that phage, working toward the Black Cleaver. And it's going to be, if he keeps going that way, Outrage, it's going to be hard even building against a Darius, even stacking armor. Looks like New Flame trying to brush off Pyrus from the Rift Scuttler, but he's just going to go back into the mid lane and farm to his heart content. The Rift Scuttler's not even up, I'm not even sure. I think he's all Pyrus from the ward. But yeah, Pakshi's doing a great job keeping this lane shoved in the bot lane.
Okay, or is a little bit of trouble there. Not the Super Mega Death Rocket. That is
a Enchanted Crystalline Arrow. Yeah, Pakshi, he's going to stay in the back line, may get a big Dat Boy Tommy, may get a double kill here as well. There it is, Pakshi Takes a couple turret shots, but Iona keeping him alive, and the heal summoner as well. Nicely played on the bot side for Kansas State University. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Pyres going in onto Outrage without any support from Secretic. He's going to get that pink ward, though, so mission accomplished.
Mid lane once again, we've got a nice wind wall, but that doesn't actually block anything.
No, there's the Chaos Storm. New Flame, he's going to get taken down. New Flame goes back in, flashes over the wall. There's the last breath with the knockup after the exhaust goes down. So New Flame got the full force of that last breath onto the victor. So that is going to be Dragon going over to Kansas State University.
Beautifully played there by New Flame. Just knew he had to wait for his cooldowns, kited away, flashed away, and unfortunately, after all the cooldowns were down for Special Name, he walks in with no damage, no ability to kill, and the refresh on Way of the Wanderer from using that last breath really, really helping New Flame stay alive and pick his team up its third kill. 2 on the AD carry, and finally him picking up his first in the mid lane.
Yeah, exactly where the... Whoa! Nice kick from Pyrus, kicking Outrage out of the air. But now they have nothing to really bring him back in. Apprehend missed. That was a beautiful kick by Pyrus. Unfortunately, nothing to follow it up.
Yeah, that's that kind of situation where you don't necessarily want your Lee Sin to kick the other guy away, but unfortunately missed there on the apprehend. Maybe should have waited a few seconds to pick that up, but still, good kick nonetheless, and that's the reason that Pyrus has chosen to pick this Lee Sin, because he wants the ability to kick people back into Darius instead of having Darius have to walk up to actually deal damage to them. So, it hasn't been effective just yet, but now we got a gank in the mid lane.
Oh yeah, Special Name, he's going to get knocked up. He has no flash, no exhaust. Nice gravity well is going to keep him alive for just a moment. There's the tornado, there's the kill. New Flame picking up a second kill of the game, and these kills are going exactly where they need to, Rapid.
Exactly where they need to. Fact
yes, I hear that.
The mid lane, definitely the source of a lot of action so far, and that's the first assist there for Malimo Sorcerer, so it's good to see that he is actually, clocking in with that Zac pick that we didn't expect coming into these games, but one that has worked very well.
Yeah, when you see something picked up in Worlds, you got to expect it to be picked up elsewhere. Goo Tigers did a great job with this Zac, and that was I think we're going to see a little bit more of that. Dat Boy Tommy, though, there's the arrow, there's the fissure. Pakshi picking up another kill, third kill of the game on a killing spree. Tower dive from Malimo Sorcerer, double kill, Pakshi, no problem. Now they're going to get this bot lane turret.
Man, I gotta say, Zac impressing me. All you have to do is just bounce under turret, apparently. That's what he's been doing over and over again, especially down there in that bottom lane situation. So, excited to see how the Zac's gonna continue to scale. Has all that extra damage from the Cinder Hulk. I was gonna say Sunfire, same idea, but nice down in the bottom lane. Top lane, though.
Outrage, yeah, that was a very premature Noxian Guillotine. Just trying to do as much damage as possible, I suppose. Try to drive him out, but he's almost Mega Nard. It's almost not going to matter. He has teleport up, so he's going to go back, buy up, have something there, and come just teleport back in. The mid lane, though, might be seeing some contention pretty soon.
The other synergy, like you just got a chance to see there for Florida International, is that they have Braum Yasuo, which means that they'll be able to put up double walls in front of the team to really keep a whole lot of stuff from getting by them. Any projectiles, of course, and that also works on Super Mega Death Rocket as well, so some significant damage reduction to be sure. Ooh, now Secretic versus Outrage.
Yeah, as a Mega Nard, he is now Mini Nard though. Meanwhile, around the mid lane, Let's Bounce coming out from Malimo Sorcerer. New Flame on a killing spree, picking up the kill onto Dat Boy Tommy.
Top lane, we got more action. Is Outrage bleeding down?
Is he going to die? He is going to have enough blood to survive this time around, not hemorrhaging all of his life force. Man, Kansas State University, they are running away with this game early on. New Flame and Pakshi, both on killing sprees. Actually, Pakshi's he's dominating, actually.
Actually pretty impressive. Pakshi, both AD carries really, not just Pakshi, have had very good games, very good. Game number one, it was just AD carry versus AD carry, both of them just getting as many kills as they could possibly handle. But this game, once again, a very, very big difference with Pakshi coming out 4-0 versus a 0-2, and this bottom lane for Florida just not showing up.
No, not this time around. And it's not just the bottom lane, the mid lane is having a lot of trouble too. Shining Light right now might be their jungler and Secretic, but Secretic hasn't really been extremely impactful. In fact, he hasn't used his teleport to help his team at all. It's just to kind of hang out in the top lane and shutting down a Gnar. A little bit different than shutting down a Pakshi or a New Flame right now.
Apprehend misses up top lane, and we talked about, oh man, Secretic's still going in.
Yeah, I don't think he has enough on this one. Pyrus is in the top lane though. He's almost Mega Gnar. Sonic Wave missing. Yeah.
Don't want to dive Mega Gnar.
No, not at all.
See Zach up on the top half of the map. See if he sticks around. We talked about football scores earlier. If you guys are fans of soccer, then you might recognize the current score of the game. I think there's a lot of emotional pain and suffering attached to that, just like it's going to be happening up top.
Oh, Melimo Sorcerer there for the counter gang. Secretic, is he going to be able to get this kill? He is not, but there is a flash Sonic Wave Resonating Strike kill for Pyrus, but now New Flame is in the top lane. Secretic, he's going to go down. New Flame, he's on a rampage right now. And
Pyrus, though, on the run.
He's on the run.
Somewhat deep in enemy territory.
He could just die to a turret at this point. He has a no, he doesn't have a ward to hop to, but he's just going to go into this death ray turret. Yeah, there you go. It's but the best in the bad situation as far as that one's concerned, I suppose.
Able to go mid is New Flame returning to his lane, and honestly, New Flame has been making plays all over the map. But the biggest play that he's made consistently being able to beat. He's just toying with it now.
I know.
Went in to use that cooldown, maybe hoping to blow an exhaust, and he's just been playing around that exhaust cooldown so much.
Yeah, I mean, New Flame is reading Special Name like a book. This is insane to watch him play. And his Twits of Fate play was really entertaining. His Yasuo play, so far for me, been even more entertaining. Now, he's going to go in onto Special Name. There's the exhaust.
Well, I don't know how that gravity...
Yeah, I don't know how that one worked either. I guess it doesn't stop your animation of attack while it's happening, but we've seen it stop a Darius mid-Noxian Guillotine, but the damage wasn't actually applied. Not really sure how that one worked, but with that being said, New Flame picking up a kill on the Special Name. And that's going to be the second dragon going over to Kansas State University.
Melimo just slingshotting in for the smite, able to take that dragon, and yeah, like you said, second dragon there going in. We've seen Darius Secretic have a decent amount of success top lane in that matchup. He's up 30 CS over Gnar, which in a melee versus ranged is pretty significant, especially with all the attention that's been going up top lane. And if you look at Outrage, his only real item completed, 3rd tier boots already. Oh man, flash out, but there's the apprehend.
Actually, he needs to be careful, but Melimo Sorcerer is there. Super Mega Death Rocket gonna be blocked, but it's not going to be able to block an axe to the face. Ionic, he's there as well. Outrage is going to pick up a kill onto that boy Tommy. Now Secretic, he's going to be locked down. Double kill going over to Outrage, and now Kaors, he's on the run. Special Name finally in the mix here. Let's see if he can make a difference. New Flame making his way down as well, but I think the team fight is disengaged now.
Man, this game has been all over the place, and by all over, I mean mostly down now here to the bottom lane. You can see 4 recalls? 3 recalls. No, okay, it's going to be 4. Recalls in the end, all the way back to base there. You can really see Kansas saying, look, we fought, we did some damage, we got some kills, now let's all go back to base and buy our items so that we can come out as a team and then make that happen again. Well, in this situation, a lot of those items are exactly the same. We've got double Infinity Edges, double Static Shivs. So nice to see that synergy working out there, but the fact that you have not 1 but 2 champions that can afford both of those items pre-20 minutes speaks wonders to Kansas's strength right now.
Yeah, and it's sort of a heaven for an AD mid laner when you don't have to build Hex Drinker, when you don't have to have that fear of getting bursted down. And yeah, New Flame has been driving Special Name back so much that he doesn't have to worry about building a Hex Drinker, so Special Name... He has a long way to come back into this one. He's almost 100 CS down from New Flame. Speaking of New Flame, though, in the top lane against Secretic, let's see what happens here. Yeah, Secretic's going down pretty fast. There's a tornado!
Barely alive, the flash!
Oh, man.
Outrageous play there. Does finally get that kill, so nice to see Secretic.
Sorcerer, nice shield coming out from Dat Boy Tommy, blocking the knockup. Now Ionic, he's going to be locked down. chunked down quite a bit. Pakshi in the backline. Super Mega Death Rocket gonna be enough to take out Ionic. Melimo Sorcerer, now he's on the run. Pakshi locked down and destroyed. That's
Able
first
to get a kill, though.
Yeah, special names. First kill of the game, but yeah, answered back by Pakshi. Pakshi not going down without a fight.
And look, top lane, Outrage is just left all alone, which normally is a bad thing because, you know, you get lonely, you want some, you know, people to hang out with.
Of course.
He's okay with that turret. I guess he's alone with the turret. And that's a pretty bad relationship. Oh my god, look at that damage, overestimating, walks right into the exhaust. Turns around, New Flame.
New Flame needs to be careful. Actually, there's really not much he can do here. Yeah, he's going to go down. KO's picking up that kill. Shutdown going over to the ADC of Florida International University. Outrage hopping over the wall, getting himself to safety. Whew.
Outrage, man, barely able to jump over that wall with his hop. Or I guess that was crunching.
Yeah, that was his because he's a Mega Gnar. He's a big boy now.
Not for long though, and back into. And always like the question is like, what is Mega Gnar? Like, so there's Mega Gnar and then just like regular Gnar, but
Mini Gnar.
Well, yeah, but is it what's regular Gnar like? Is there like a median? Maybe they're using like the Pokemon breeder where you skip the middle stage.
I always imagined it'd be like you know, the Hulk, because he only goes into Mega Gnar when he's like fighting, which I would assume he's like fighting angrily as a tiny Gnar. I assume. You know, he also goes into Mega Gnar when he's getting punched. So I would assume, you know, if you punch Bruce Banner, he'd probably go into Hulk. Right?
I mean, I'm not really going to go punching Bruce Banner.
No, exactly, yeah. You don't want to punch a Mini Gnar either, or turn into a giant Mega Gnar. Pyrus doesn't mind attacking into an Ashe, and Melimo Sorcerer doesn't mind pouncing on a Secretic. He's also going to go into Pyrus. Nice Enchanted Crystalline Arrow from the backlines for Pakshi. Pakshi's going to be able to pick up that kill on a Secretic. Huge arrow on a Secretic, and now 2-4-1. He's not looking too good as a Darius.
Yeah, Darius. Well, to be fair, he's looking almost the best on his team outside of you know, guys like Kaors, as far as, you know, people who've picked up the most kills. Unfortunately, going overextended into a team that's got Ashe Arrow, that's got Zac, a lot of ways to catch you out, and Gnar that can perma-chase you. So Baron buff being started out here, Kansas on top of it, and Baron can't deal damage with that wind wall up, so they're just able to take it down. Super Mega Death Rocket coming out.
Oh, there's New Flame going in. Dat Boy Tommy falling, gonna dash right over to KO's. Easy pickings for New Flame. Triple kill.
Oh my god.
For New Flame, looking for a quadra kill onto Pyrus. Can he get it? He's gonna try to dash over. He's gonna turret dive this one, because why not? Oh, quadra kill. Unofficial quadra kill, actually, onto New Flame.
My gosh, this New Flame guy, a lot of hype behind him. I was expecting big things, and I think it's safe to say he showed up. Ari in game 1 maybe a little bit shaky, but there were a lot of other issues besides just the mid lane there. And in games 2 and now 3, he's carried incredibly hard. 9-1 currently on Yasuo.
Yeah, died one time so far in the last 2 games. Did not die at all as a Twisted Fate. Died only once so far on as Yasuo. Dragon up, third dragon going over to Kansas State University, and this is another time it's just not contested.
Yeah, dragon taken down. This is the third dragon in the game, so some extra movement speed here for Kansas as they move down to just push out their side waves, head back to base, and once again, notice they're all moving together as a team, with the notable exception of Outrage, who's pretty much just off on his own, doing whatever he wants to, and now 18-6. That is triple your opponent's kills. That is a very difficult place for Florida International to come back from.
Tripling their kills, 5 towers up to the 0 of Florida International University, 0 dragons taken, and Kansas State University, they are up 13k gold right now at 24 minutes 40 seconds. I don't really know much of what they can do. So coming into this game, Florida International University, they were undefeated. Looks like that may be changing. This is best of 3 in game number 3. Kansas State University. Looks like they're going to try to bring their first defeat over to Florida International.
Well, Florida International definitely on the back foot there, sort of trapped right outside their base. Not a whole lot of places for them to go at this point. As far as timers go, there really won't be any major objectives up for a while, but this Baron buff is really what Kansas City are going to use to push their lead.
Oh, Secretic, is he got out or is New Flame caught out? Can't tell. Nice arrow coming out from Paxley. Flash over the wind wall from Secretic. But New Flame still picking up a kill on to Special Name. 1, 5, and 2. Special Name not having a good day. Pyrus not having a good day. Paxley picking up that kill. That is going to be the bot lane inhibitor going down.
Wow, great job tanking that by Molimo. No damage dealt to the entirety rest of this team just because he was so tanky.
There's
he could
surrender.
just walk in there. And there's the surrender vote, 4-0. It's Kansas. They've picked up 2 wins in a row to turn their Game 1 loss around and take the series 2-1.
Yeah, Kansas State University showing up huge in game number 2 and 3. Congratulations to them. And man, that's thoughts on your game, Rapid. What happened there in the early going? Was it just New Flame? What was it?
New Flame, I wouldn't say it was just him, but when he makes up exactly half of his team's kills, it's a pretty big participation. 50%, he actually had a little bit more because he had 2 assists there as well. Just incredibly well played there on the Yasuo. Twisted Fate game earlier is flawless, and game number 1, maybe you can just, turn your face away from that. But you should actually look at it from the perspective of Florida International, a team that had a little bit of a dicey game 1, but were finally able to pull it out in the end. How much of that was based on picks, though? Because as soon as that Fiora's banned, a much different situation top lane, and even the mid lane looked incredibly shaky as far as the mismatch there with New Flame coming out way on top in the end. So in the end, congratulations, Kansas State University. They are looking very dominant, at least in this matchup. It'll be interesting to track them as they play through the Collegiate Star League regular season. And where can we do that, Fekez?
We can do that at twitch.tv/CStarLeague. That's where you can catch up all of the Collegiate League of Legends action, along with all of our other games from Dota, Hearthstone, and CSGO. And I think we're adding others too. Check back every week, of course, on Monday and Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We'll be here every time at those times, Rapid and myself. And do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Brain Gear, Alpha Draft, and Twitch.tv. Let me go ahead and break those down to you. Brain Gear, I said it before, but I'll say it again. No sugar, only 5 calories. Perfect for get you going for your weekly best of 3. It is an NSF certified daily brain supplement and helps. It's a formula that helps support the brain at a cellular level. Of course, Alpha Draft, win real money. I saw a little bit of Alpha Draft mentioned in the chat. Glad you guys are checking it out. Each week, drafting teams in League of Legends, Dota 2, CS:GO, and/or Smite for your chance at a shot at one of the big payouts. And of course, Twitch, largest streaming service in the United States, possibly in the world. I don't really know the numbers, but I'm pretty sure it's in the world. But that's going to be it for us. And so on behalf of C-Star League and Rapid, my name is Joshua Fekes Quest. Of course, I just said here with Rapid. Tune in next Friday, again at 6 p.m. PDT. And we look forward to seeing you. Thanks for joining us, and good night.
Bye.